ever since I was a little kid. That's all I did was sports. I didn't have time for anything else. That's every kid's dream. Play in a championship game. I'd put that up with any Super Bowl I've been in. Those are friendships and bonds that last, a lifetime. Play every down like it's your last. Because it could be. If you lose, you're out, and then you'll never know. Go out like a champion that you are.
The IHSA Class 5A Football Championship, next on Sports Channel. You are watching Sports Channel.
Coverage of the IHSA Football Championship is proudly presented by Country Companies Insurance. When it matters most, the country's behind you. And by Pepsi. Nothing else is a Pepsi. Well, we've crowned 4 champions. We've got 2 more today. Welcome back to the IHSA Football Championship at Hancock Stadium at Illinois State University in Normal. I'm Brian Davis along with Al Harris in the 5A game out. We've got a couple of teams that have run the table so far. Woodstock and Rock Island, each 13-0, but teams very different in terms of style.
Well, Brian, Woodstock wants to get a wide-open game. They have a great passing game as well as running game. While you got Rock Island with those big, massive hogs up front and a great running back, they want to keep it close.
Let's start with the Woodstock offense. The Blue Streaks led by number 45, Craig Castney.
Castney, he's part of that balance of Woodstock. He's the guy you want to control the football, let him run it, keep that pass rush off of that offense.
Offensively, Woodstock is strong, but defensively, they have allowed just 4 touchdowns their last 5 games. Here's the main man, Roy Fritz.
Well, Roy Fritz wants to put that offense of Rock Island on the Fritz. This guy is very smart. He makes all the calls. He's the glue that holds it together.
Rock Island comes in with a load running the football. Alonzo Wise, 2,000-plus yards on the ground.
Alonzo Wise, he's Mr. Excitement. This guy runs a 10,600 meters. 28 touchdowns, as you can see. He has a 9.3-yard average. That's incredible.
The Rocks will use size to their advantage, perhaps. Look at the linebacker, Jason Morlock. He puts on 20 pounds. He could be playing Division I college football.
His head coach says that this guy has great instincts, maybe the best he's seen in 20-plus years. So this guy will definitely put a mortal lock on Woodstock's offense if they don't block him.
Now, how does Rock Island have to play this game today, considering that 93% of their offense comes on the ground?
Well, they have to. You exactly said that. Their percentage is well under 50% completing the ball. They don't want to get behind or they'll be in big, big trouble.
Stay with us. Kickoff is approaching now. Let's meet the starters to the public address and Jeff Fritzen.
Fans, with the temperature at game time, 55 degrees and wind out of the southeast at 9 miles per hour, here are today's participants in the Class 5A State Championship Final. For Woodstock, head coach Ed Rucker. Defensive starters for Woodstock. At left end, number 61, Mike Brazil. At left tackle, number 68, Bob Moore. At right tackle, number 74, Brent Lehman. At right end, number 88, Matt Hubner. Linebacker, number 33, Brian Sundberg. Linebacker, number 34, Matt Clark Johnson. At nose tackle, number 22, Marco Zamorano. At linebacker, number 44, Roy Fritz. Defensive back, number 9, Rob Worth. Defensive back, number 25, Dave Davis. Safety, number 45, Craig Castney. And now for the Rocks of Rock Island High School, head coach Vic Boblet. Offensive left end, number 88, Justin East. Left tackle, number 70, Lars Sunfor. At guard, number 66, Eric Black. At center, number 51, Jeff Brown. At right guard, number 71, Josh Caha. At right tackle, number 76, Jason Brown. At right end, number 86, John Lillis. The quarterback, number 9, Jim O'Melia. Halfback, number 25, Alonzo Wise. At halfback, number 42, Tony Mott. And at fullback, number 33, Ashley Harris.
Patrolling the sidelines for us this afternoon, Pete Pranica.
Thanks, Brian Davis. The road to normal for Woodstock begins with a perfect 9-0 regular season. They pitched 3 shutouts during the course of the regular season. But on the playoffs, guys, they have been on a tear, outscoring the opposition 142-29. And they capped off their playoff run with a 49-14 thrashing of Bishop McNamara. You might remember it was the Macs that bumped off Providence Catholic, who won last night in 4A. And, of course, Woodstock located northwest of the Windy City along the Northwest Rail Line. For Rock Island, also a perfect 9-0 regular season, scoring better than 40 points a contest and shutting out 2 opponents. They go through the playoffs, winning all 4 of their games, including a 14-13 overtime thriller against Cary Grove to get to this point to normal. And, of course, Rock Island beginning their drive to normal along the banks of the mighty Mississippi and the Quad Cities. They make the move east to normal to play for the Class 5A state title. Brian, take it away.
Pete, thanks very much. We are about to kick it off, and deep for Rock Island on the far side of your screen. When we get to that point, Adam Hill and Alonzo Wise, there they are, kicking it off for Woodstock is Craig Kastning. This guy can literally do it all. The approach and the pooch, not by Kastning, but one of the guys up with him on the line, and it's picked up by Hill. Dances at the 20, nice straight forward, still on his feet, down at the 30. Decent return after a difficult handle on that ball. Let's take a look at the Country Company's lineup, starting with the Rocks of Rock Island. And again, size. These 2 Browns, man, I'll tell you what, Jeff Brown, Jason Brown, 300-plus pounds apiece. Now, the skill players, O'Melia is the quarterback, doesn't throw the ball much, but look for Wise, Harris, and Tony Mott carrying the ball on the option. And immediately to Alonzo Wise, and immediately he gets a good cut on the far side. Good gain, close to a first down.
You know, this is the type of guy that you got to watch him right away. If you let him get off early, it's going to be a long day for Woodstock. Very explosive. I love his body lean on this. As you see, coming around the corner, now he hits that hole quick. Watch the body lean. Get some extra 3 yards there.
Gain of 8, Wise averaging 9.3 yards a carry. And straight ahead, this time the handoff to the fullback Ashley Harris as we continue with the Country Company's lineup. Mike Brazil anchoring one end, and Matt Hubner. This is a guy who is a key for this defense. Missed 5 games with a knee injury. Talk more about him as we get into the linebacking core and the secondary. Again, look in the middle at Fritz and Kastning. 2 stars, 2 ways for the Blue Streaks of Woodstock. O'Melia up to center, and the pitch to Wise. Down he goes. There's Matt Hubner. Big tackle for loss on first down.
Matt Hubner, this is just what you need to do against a guy like Wise. You need to get upfield, not give him a chance to put some moves on you. Great penetration by Hubner up there. He never even gave him a chance to get started.
Matt Hubner missed 5 games the early part of the season with a knee injury. His coach, Ed Rucker, says one of the reasons Woodstock became more consistent defensively was the return of Matt Hubner. Now here's Wise off right tackle. He's got the first down and more across the 45-yard line.
Well, you know, one of the things you look at, the big key here is how will that Rock Island massive offensive line play against Woodstock's smallest front. And that's one of the things you see them pounding up the middle. They're going to see if they can wear them down.
Error bald guy. I was so busy looking at the lineup. That was a first down play, second down play off the tackle for loss. There you go. Now it's 3rd and 7. O'Melia back to pass. Hubner in his face. Floats it for Wise, who has to come back for it. Nothing doing. 4th down. Rock Island will have to punt.
Mike Brazil put great pressure on O'Melia in that play. This is the one thing Rock Island does not want to do. You don't want to get in a 3rd and long as you have to throw, because it's going to be an adventure for them throwing the ball. Good pressure on that big mammoth offensive line, actually, by Woodstock.
They got the pressure off the edges. Hubner from the near side, Brazil from the far side. The punter for Rock Island is James Britton, averaging 38.5 yards a kick. Back for Woodstock, 2 guys passing near side. Rob Worth far side. He'll take it on the hop at about the 19-yard line. Powers through to near the 30-yard line. And he is driven down with authority by John Lillis. An 11-yard return as we take a look at Woodstock starting offense. Brazil, a two-way player, shifts over to right tackle. And then the skill players, Adam Vatier, nearly 2,100 yards passing. And again, you see Kastning and Fritz anchoring that option backfield. First down and on the carry, it's Kastning, slips 1 tackle, gets a little bit more. He's finally taken down by J.J. Tubbs after a decent game. 6 yards on the play up to the Woodstock 36.
Nice misdirection there by Kastning. He's going to, this guy, he has good feet. He's tough to bring down. You have to wrap him up.
So 2nd and 4. The tier calls the play and hands off to Kastning. Again off right tackle. And he is met and driven down by Jimmy Lee, 5'11", 252 pounds. And here is that Rock Island defensive line. Jimmy Lee at left tackle. Look at the 2 guys on the right side. Justin Rossler, 350 pounds, and then their big guy, Terry Rosenthal. Into the secondary, we've seen J.J. Tubbs and Jason Morlock. 134 tackles on the season, counting solos and assists.
Well, you know something interesting that played out on that last play? That smallest front of Woodstock kind of took it right at Rock Island and just basically ran it right up with those big 3 studs on the front. Nunn, Rossler, and Jimmy Lee.
There's Ed Brucker on the Woodstock sidelines. Down on the near side, Pete Pranica.
Thanks, guys. One of the things that Coach Brucker told me this week, he said, we're going to do a lot of things offensively. We're going to move the chair around. We're going to go left. We're going to go right. And they have a very smart team, so you'll see a lot of offensive looks from the Blue Streaks.
Vatier back to pass, rolls right, hits Hubner. No, he juggled the ball. Incomplete.
Rock Island was very fortunate on that play because on that sprint up, their linebacker, defensive end, lost contain on that. And you don't want to lose contain because you give the quarterback an open sight that he can deliver the ball.
Judgment by the officials is that as Hubner fell to earth, that ball for a moment just hit the carpet and came back up, making it a trap. So 2nd and 10, Woodstock at the Blue Streaks 40. Kastning cuts it back, eludes the man trying to chase him down from behind. That was Jason Britton, gets positive yardage out of what could have been a line of scrimmage stop.
Kastning has great vision. If that cutback that he made on that play, I mean, that's just instinctive. That's not something you can coach. He cut back. He has really good, quick feet. He's going to be tough to bring down in this game.
The tier 2,100 yards passing, Kastning 1,200 yards rushing, Fritz nearly 900 yards rushing, Brian Sundberg at right end, better than 400 yards rushing, split backfield, and play action. The tier ball is popped up, incomplete, as he was hit and hit hard.
Terry Rosenthal, number 84.
Terry Rosenthal, with 8 quarterback sacks on the season, leading the Rock defense in that category, got great pressure on the play.
See, Terry Rosenthal, he made up for that last play losing contain. He beats the back on the blitz. Excellent hit there. Almost could have been a fumble, but they ruled that his arm was going forward. Good call by the official.
So 4th down now, and Adam Vatier will drop back to punt. He is the quarterback. He is the punter. He is the place kicker on punts, averaging just under 38 yards. J.J. Tubbs back in single safety for Rock Island. Decent kick that sends Tubbs back to the 15. Dances, passing, still on his feet to the far sideline. Eludes his second tackler. Finally driven out of bounds. A 10-yard return with all that dancing. 4 minutes on first quarter. We're scoreless in the 5A title game.
The IHSA Football Championship is brought to you by Country Companies Insurance. When it matters most, the country behind you. Pepsi, Generation Next, and by your local Lincoln Mercury dealer.
First down, Ashley Harris carried for 9 yards, and then Tony Montz busted a good one, 11 yards. First down, Rock Island on the march from the Rock's 40-yard line.
Nice surge by that big, massive offensive line. That's what you want to do if you're Rock Island. Don't make it fancy. Don't make it cute. Just go right at it.
Harris again, and Jim O'Melia directs that option really well. His fakes are outstanding.
They are outstanding, and they need to be, because they don't want anyone keying on any particular guy, especially Alonzo Wise.
Rock Island, like Woodstock, running the option, and again, the Rocks primarily a running team. They have good distribution. Wise, right edge. Gets around the corner. He may go. 20, 10. Touchdown, Alonzo Wise. Rock Island draws first blood on a 53-yard play.
Unadulterated speed. This guy is a rocket. Watch this. He's like toying with those guys. You can see why. He's a track sprinter, 10, 6, 100 meters, just exploded out of there.
Point after by Tubbs is up and good. 7-0 Rock Island. Not quite half the first quarter complete here at Hancock Stadium. Alonzo Wise had a scout from Nebraska looking at him last week in that game against Cary Grove. He has drawn the attention of a number of Big Ten schools, and why not? At 5'9", 185 pounds, and a 9.3 yard rushing average.
Explosive. He hit that corner so fast. It was almost like before Woodstock knew it, he was in the end zone. Now, to show you how great a runner this guy is, watch how quickly he hits that corner. He stutter step on the corner that back there, and he's gone. When you get a great back like that one-on-one with a DB, he should beat him.
Jason Brown, nice block, just held Mike Brazil long enough to let Wise get around the edge. Pete Pranick is downstairs. What do you got, Peter?
Thanks, Brian. Rock Island believes in getting off to a quick start. In all games this year, they have a plus 96-point differential. They like to dominate and dominate early. Offense, defense, and Brian, so far, that's the way the story's playing out.
Great job, Pete. Peter brought up a great point here, especially when you have that big line. You have a quick start, but they have a quick start because they have probably the quickest guy in the state running the ball for them, Alonzo Wise. So it's important for them to get out early, and that's probably why they built up that undefeated record of theirs.
And
Rucker has changed his return crew. Casting still on the near side. Now Roy Fritz on the far side as Rob Worth comes up and plays the front line to the near side. Rucker uses a number of options. Ed Rucker in his 4th season at Woodstock, 31-12. Vic Moblin in his 7th year at Rock Island, 11th overall as a head coach. Casting, that's a 3. Takes a look to the right, cuts back to the left. He's got some room. Casting, approaching midfield. Has Cubs to beat, cannot, but he is into Rock Island territory. 53-yard return for Craig Casting.
Craig Casting does it all. This guy receives, he runs, and he also returns kicks. Now watch this. Watch the blocker. He's looking for the wedge, setting it up, kind of pacing himself a little bit. Nice cutback. See the vision? See that great vision he just cut? He left their outside wing guy just in his tracks. Great tackle there. Otherwise, it would have been a touchdown.
He turned DeMario Morrow, the special teamer, flat around.
Oh, my goodness. He has great cutback vision. I love his vision.
1st and 10, Woodstock at the Rock Island 43. And Casting met with an exclamation point on the play. That was Jason Morlock.
Locked up on him, Morlock. This guy he's all over the field. You're going to see him making a ton of tackles today. Just gets great penetration. That's how you tackle somebody right there. Wrap up, see the arms right around his back. You can't get away from that. I don't care how good of a back you are.
Roy Fritz was leading left. He was cheating to that side. Morlock just blew right past him. He was into the backfield in the blink of an eye. Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. Batier to pass. Looking downfield, he has Hubner. Hubner fights to stay on his feet, out of bounds at the 23-yard line.
Nice play by Batier. This is the play they went to earlier, and Hubner just dropped it. Nice protection there by the O-line. He gets out there, throwing on the run. That's very hard to do. Hubner makes up for it this time. Nice catch.
Brian Sundberg had drawn double coverage downfield at about the 10-yard line, leaving Hubner a little room to come underneath. Up to center, Eric Stalo. There's Hubner, again a two-way player, 6'1", 190 pounds. Split backfield. Batier to pass, swings out to Casting on the second option. He's got room. Casting to the 10-yard line, where he is hammered out of bounds by the cornerback, Tyson Shivers.
Did you see that catch? What a catch. Watch this catch here, ladies and gentlemen. One-handed. Look at that. Oh, and he kept it with one arm the whole time.
How about
Casting? That is an awesome play. That's almost as good as the play we saw Pop made. One-handed stab. I mean, he didn't bring it down with both hands. He just brought it down with one hand.
14-yard play, 1st and goal, 9-yard line. Split backfield, Casting far side, Fritz to the near side. Batier hands to Fritz up the middle, dances one tackle, dances another, and scores. His coach, Ed Rucker, says he's not a big guy, but he's got a ton of heart. He doesn't want to go down.
Well, he definitely doesn't want to go down there. He just hits off left tackle. Good cutback move on there. Just kept the feet moving. You know, it's just very surprising that they're able to do that against Rock Island's line, but they're taking the right tool.
Now out of the hold of Casting, Batier will attempt the extra point that would tie this game. Good.
Different approach with these two teams. You know, both the other two games we did, people both the two-point conversions. These guys are just kicking extra points.
Just stand up and slug it out. See who beats whom in the trench and who wears whom out as we go along today.
I'm telling you what, Fritz just did a great job here looking for the hole there. Breaks a couple of tackles. See, when you get that momentum going, you have a great catch by casting out in the flat. It gets the guys excited. Now, watch his reaction there. You know, that's a salute and the grave digger. He does a little of both the salute, you know, the sergeant salute, The Army salute, they call it, and the grave digger. You see Gilbert Brown out of Green Bay make that very popular. And our own linebacker here, Barry
Minter, that's right. Ed Brucker mentioned earlier that he is in his 4th season. Do you know, Alan, the year before he became head coach at Woodstock, the Blue Streaks were 0-9. His first season, they were 3-6, and in that year, they lost their first 3 games. And in 4 short years, here they are playing for the big trophy at Hancock Stadium.
Great job by Bruckner, and I have a feeling they're not going to have those bad years again the way they're playing right now. Very well coached.
Vic Boblett is a coach of some accomplishment for Rock Island. We'll tell you more of his story as we go along here. But the kickoff, hammered along the ground by Brian Sundberg. Bobbled by Wise. Picks it up, makes a move to the middle, and gains not quite the 30-yard line. 15-yard return.
Kid is pretty strong. I mean, when he ran up the middle, he's only 180-plus pounds. But, I mean, he took a couple guys on a little ride on that kick return.
Well, the scouting report on him is that early in the football game, and what he has done is that he has proved the scouts wrong with what he did here earlier in the first quarter. But the scouting report on Wise is that early in the game, he likes to hit it up in the hole.
You have to love that. That shows a lot of mental toughness for a small guy like that.
Hand off to the fullback, Harris. Modest gain. Roped down by Bob Moore. Left side defensive tackle for the Blue Streaks.
Now, it's interesting. You know, when you're looking at these two teams, how do you want to play defensively if you're Woodstock? Do you want to slant, or do you want to take these guys head on? You know, that's the thing they have to check out and see. Is that something they want to do or not? Because if they slant and miss, it could be 6 by Mr. Wilder.
Rushing yardage so far, 95-22 in Woodstock's favor. A rare pass complete to Tony Moss on the far sideline, and he is met and dropped immediately. Rob Worth, who is starting today, I believe, in place of the regular number 1 on that corner, Rodney Cobb, who is suffering from an ankle injury.
Yeah, O'Mealy just made a nice play out there, out to the flat. You know, they needed some positive yards after that first down play. They only got like a half yard, I think, if that.
The handoff to Harris. Close to the first down. Let's go downstairs to Pete Pranica.
Thanks, Brian. Al, you asked the question, how should Woodstock play defensively? Talked to Ed Brucker last year. He said, you know what? Last year, we thought we were smaller. We knew we were smaller. We figured we'd slant, we'd stunt, we'd do a lot of funny stuff. And they lost 44-36 in the state quarterfinal. He says, Pete, no more of that this year. We are going to play them head up. Brian?
Great job, Pete. You know, that's exactly what you're talking about there. And they're taking them head up now.
4th down. And Rock Island is going to go for it, we think. Timeout is taken by the Rocks, so let's build on that. He didn't get a great spot on the football, but once again, this is a team that does not pass a lot. 93% of the Rocks' offense comes on the rush. And Vic Boblett's attitude about that is, what we'll do is we'll pass when we can be effective with it. His notion is to attack different parts of the field, not balance run versus pass, but to attack different areas of the field. Whether you do that running or passing doesn't matter in his mind. Tonight, the Bulls look for revenge against the team that handed them their only loss at the United Center this season. Michael and the Bulls face Chris Webber and the Washington Wizards. It all starts with the game room at 6, followed by tip-off at 6:30 right here on Sports Channel.
You know, Brian, I think the big thing right here, this is a big play here because you're not even on your 40-yard line yet. They obviously have a lot of confidence in their running game, but if they don't make this, they give a very, very short field to Woodstock. Well, looks like they're going to punt it.
Now they are back. James Britton will punt. 38.5 yards by average on the season. Fritz looks like he wants to put on the bull rush, and the snap is bad, and he is in trouble, and down he goes. Matt Hubner ropes James Britton down inside the 10-yard line. Red alert in the zone for the Blue Streaks. A 28-yard loss on the bad snap.
Well, a lot of times people wonder how important special teams are. We saw a game decided yesterday by punt return. The snap was over his head. He still should have had it. I mean, it was there. It wasn't so much that he couldn't grab it, but it was over his head a little bit. Obviously, he wasn't expecting it to be that high. A big, big break for Woodstock.
First and 10 at the 10. From our angle, I can't tell. I mean, they'd have to put the nose of the football right on the goal line to get a first down. It is first and goal officially. First and goal, Woodstock. On the misdirection, Fritz to the far side, takes the angle, and scores. Roy Fritz's second touchdown. Woodstock with the right cross.
Beautiful call by Buckner on that play. You know, you have a team, that's what happens, you know, you hit them with a big play right away after a turnover, because guys, sometimes they get their heads down, they're thinking, and they weren't expecting to get out there. Nice counter OT with the two guys pulling around. They seal and a kick out, and Mr. Fritz just turns on the speed.
Just outraced the defender right to the corner of the end zone, and that's where he was going. Now Adam Vatira's run off to pick up his tee. Craig Casting has possession of it at the 10, and the extra point is good. 14-7 now as Woodstock responds to the early shot from Alonzo Wise with 2 unanswered touchdowns.
It tells you that turnovers are big key. Seen them yesterday hurt teams, and again today it's hurt Rock Island. Now, I want you to pay attention to the line pulling around. See the two big guys pulling around there in the back? And they just lead them around, and it's a touchdown. He just outruns Adam Hill to the end zone. Roy Fritz is doing a great job. He's obviously their emotional leader there.
Our stat wizard David Berkson advises that the Blue Streaks' last 2 possessions have totaled 1 minute 10 seconds.
Quick striking team. Woodstock obviously the faster team. Rock Island is probably a mauler team, except, you know, they have the fastest guy on the field, obviously, with Wise. But I would say overall they probably have better team speed on Woodstock. And they can beat you in so many different ways, too, versus Rock Island pretty much one-dimensional on offense.
How bitter the irony to have something like that happen when you consider that Rock Island on the season, when you look at the giveaway takeaway numbers, on the turnover table, the Rocks are plus 31. That is as gaudy a statistic as you will see. Yesterday we had St. Joseph High School in the 2A game that was plus 34, but those guys are on another planet with that stuff.
Well, what that tells you, Brian, if they're plus 31, that tells you there's a very good chance they're going to get a couple of turnovers back before this game is over. When you have that much discrepancy, that shows you know what you're doing going after football.
Once again, they don't want Wise to get his hand on the football, so Brian Sundberg kicks it out of bounds as he attempts the flutter ball. Now let's see what the decision Rock Island will make. Will they take the football?
They're saying no matter what, we're not going to let Wise beat us.
Third procedure on the kicking team, re-kick.
So they'll take the re-kick. And there's your referee today. That's Tom Gaddis, who is from Mount Prospect, and he's working with the crew. There you see their names. Hello, fellas. Glad to have you here. Glad to have Pete Pranica downstairs. Now they're going to go ahead and kick it again.
Now they're a little bit further back. You know, do you still want to kick it that it goes out of bounds? Like, I would imagine it would be a swift kick. You definitely don't want to get it in Wise's hand. It'd be a wise move not to get it in Wise.
Sundberg tees it up. And another squibber. Picked up. And right back. And man, what contact as Bill Sheeter picks it up and pays the price, but goes into the hole with some authority on his own 15 yards on the return.
Now that's football there. Do you hear all that collision? Man, oh man, that was great hits in there. But that's how you take it up in there. That's, you know, you can't be afraid. This is a championship game. You got to lay it all out on the line.
First down and 10 from the 41-yard line of Rock Island, and now goes Tony Montz to the left side of the line. Montz, the halfback, averaging 6.2 yards a carry.
Let's not forget about Tony Montz. You know, we're talking about Alonzo Wise being the explosive guy, but Tony Montz is he's not a slacker. I mean, he has 15 touchdowns for the year, averages 6.2 yards a carry. So he can play also. He can hold his own.
Also catches the football. And there's Wise, right edge. Takes the slant to the right end and picks up another handful. Looks to be about 3rd and 4.
You know, it's interesting. You think they would get Alonzo Wise on the outside a little bit more. But he's a little guy. He likes running on the inside. But yet he has a huge average per carry. So you imagine he pops a few loose during the game.
Roy Fritz brought him down.
Roy Fritz makes all their calls. He's getting them lined up for his team, hoping to make a big play here.
3rd and 4. Pass and a little bit over the head of the intended John Lillis. He doesn't have great speed, but he's the classic possession guy because he's got good hands, but O'Melia just led him a little bit too high.
Oh, man, he might have been running for days on that play. They didn't see that coming anywhere. I mean, that was a great call by Bobby, but now watch the pressure there. But still, he should have made that completion. I mean, he had time to get rid of that football.
The nose tackle, Marco Zamorano, had him wrapped up and took him down. Now the punt by Britton. This snap goes okay. A line drive that Rob Worth lets go through. Good decision because he gets a touchback after a 53-yard punt.
Well, one of the things you look for if you're Woodstock, you can put a tremendous amount of pressure on the Rocks here. Because if you score on this, they're down 2 touchdowns, and they're not used to coming from behind for big deficits.
Britton getting some attaboys after the disaster on the previous punt. Back downstairs, Pete Pranica.
Thanks, guys. During the week, Ed Brucker of Woodstock called Coach Bruce Kay of Cary Grove. Now, Cary Grove held Rock Island to 7 points in regulation. He said, how do you stop Alonzo Wise? Well, so far, they've let him have that one big run, and we'll see what happens, Brian and Al, on the next Rock Island possession.
1st and 10, play action, Fritz to the far side. He gains the edge, waiting for blocking, dances, cuts back to the sideline, and down he goes after a gain of 17 yards.
This is the play they ran on the touchdown. They just pulled Mike Brazil and Brian Sundberg around there. See Sundberg's out there in front, and he just mulls over Adam Hill there and gives Fritz a lot of running room. They just run that old, what they call the old Washington Redskins counter OT.
Fritz doing the 3-legged drill.
Yep, the old 3-legged drill. Using that arm to keep that balance.
So to the 38-yard line. Blue Streaks operating 1st and 10. Receivers left and right. Oh, and now intercepted. J.J. Tubbs picks it off, intended for Matt Buechner. And Rock Island with the turnover in business in Woodstock territory.
I'm telling you what. Quarterback Adam Ventura, he got lit up on this play. Oh, look at him. You can tell he's feeling it. He got hit. Watch, he gets it from both sides, from Rosenthal and I think it was Britton on the other side.
It was the end sandwich.
Oh, man, did he get hit. And a great play by Tubbs on there.
Now the handoff to Wise. Look out. See ya. Touchdown, Rock Island. A 41-yard punch in the jaw. Pete Pranica downstairs. Fire away.
Thanks, Brian. Just before that interception, the Rock Island coaching staff brought the whole offensive team over, and they said, number one, you have to be more disciplined. Don't anticipate, be disciplined. I'm looking at the chalkboard. They drew up one play, a quick hitter off the right side to Alonzo Wise. That's the play they just used to score the touch.
Saves ink that way.
That's the old call of drawing it up in the dirt play. Now, here's a quick hitter. And Wise, great cutback move. And at this point, it almost looks like a cartoon, the Roadrunner out running a coyote. I mean, he gets by him so fast, there's no one even in the screen.
Notice the way on both his touchdown runs, he goes out toward the edge and then curls back to the center of the field.
Man, I'm telling you, this guy, I mean, he leaves breathless when you watch him play.
Speaking of breathless, we're at 14 aside, and we have a minute left in the first quarter. There's Adam Batir, who was separated from his senses as Woodstock was separated from the football.
But Rosenthal and Britton just unloaded on him, sandwiched him, and I mean, he's still feeling it over there on that sideline. He got smoked on that play. Man.
Alonzo Wise, 94 of his 108 yards on count them, 2 carries.
9 seconds, huh? I don't know if I could run that 9 seconds if I just stood up and just try to run it straight without blocking.
You know something? You and I might be a race to see who finishes last.
My goodness, that's a great play.
Tubbs, the squib, bobbled but picked up. And returned by Dave Davis for Woodstock.
Now, you know, the important thing here is how is Adam Batir going to recover from that hit? You know, that's something that, you know, Rosenthal and Britton, they basically said, let's meet at the quarterback. That's something that defensive ends dream about, and that's something that they needed to have happen. And plus the interception, like you pointed out earlier, Brian, those big turnover ratio, and we saw that come back. You figure eventually they're going to make a play.
Jason Britton is described by his coach, Vic Boblet, as the foundation of the defense with Rosenthal on the other side. Rosenthal, he said, can put a shot on people. Yeah, coach, guess you're right. 1st and 10, 36-yard line. Handoff to Caston. Left side, gets a block from Sundberg. Still in business. Past the stick. 1st down on that carry.
They're doing that counter OT again. Pulling Sundberg around from the strong side, the tight end. And he's just having a field day right now with that smallish corner. Now watch him coming around from the left side. See him and Brazil pulling around. And here he comes, Sundberg on the smallest corner there. They're going to have to make an adjustment because they're going to run that play all day until they stop it.
Ball is placed on the left hash. And the handoff, flag on the play.
You know, one thing I've seen in the games we've done, Brian, we have not seen too many penalties. I mean, I think you find two very well-coached teams, and we haven't seen too many penalties on either side of football most of the games that we've done, and I think that's a tribute to the coaching staffs of all these fine teams.
Call is against Woodstock. Let's hear.
Early motion on the offense, 5 yards, repeat 1st down.
Pete Pranica is downstairs.
Brian, right now with Alonzo Wise breaking off a couple of big plays, you might think Woodstock would be a little flustered, but Ed Brucker, he says, no, I'm going to check my ready card. I'm going to send the play in with my running back. Absolutely no frustration, at least shown on their faces. They are very, very poised, Brian, as they take this 1st and 15 play.
There's been a lot of action, fellas, in this first quarter. Almost exhausting mentally. Look out, Batir, heavy pressure, but he beats that pressure and he hits Fritz. Flag on the play as Fritz heads for the end zone. He's got one man to beat now. Chased down from behind by Tubbs, but let's see about that handkerchief.
I think this one's coming back. I mean, they had the blocker set up. You could tell this was going to be a long play just by the way they set that up, but looks like in the place you normally would have holding.
Or an illegal block, perhaps. Tom Gaddis, the...
Below the waist.
Yep.
Got to stay up on the frame.
And that's a little bit more serious yardage.
Yep. Just as I talked about the penalties, all of a sudden there's 2 in a row here. This is the sort of thing you don't want being Woodstock. You don't want to get in a big, huge deficit as far as yardage is concerned. Now watch the setup. Nice screen. Let's keep an eye on the line to see. Oh, there you go. You see, Casting, he was low on that block. And they call that he has to stay up.
Interesting, in the Bears game, Juan Roque, the Detroit Lions young defensive, or rather offensive lineman, is having a heck of a season, and somebody blocked him and ended his season the other day. That's why you throw that flag. 1st and 23 now. Vatier to Sundberg, reach to make the catch, and a nice run after the catch, and it's stopped by Morlock.
Now you may ask and say, why do you run back-to-back screens? Well, because their quarterback almost got knocked out previously. They're trying to slow down those two fine defensive ends for Rock Island, so they're trying to throw a couple of screens, keep those guys off their horses.
First quarter comes to a close. Friends, we have had a little bit of everything. Don't you dare touch that dial. Back to the second quarter after a break on Sports Channel.
What you doing? Just dropping Mom some hints to call Uncle Bob at the Ameritech gift hotline, so we get what we want this year.
Cordless phones that let you talk for blocks. Pagers so you're always reachable. You'll find great gifts at the Ameritech gift hotline. Call 1-800-709-LINK to order and enter our sweepstakes, where you could win your dream home.
What are you doing?
Just making sure I get that cool new phone.
Very subtle.
In 1993, you could drive a new Mercury Grand Marquis for under $20,000. Since then, we've made it more distinctive, more luxurious, more durable, even safer. But there's one thing we left well enough alone: the price. For a limited time, drive the legendary V8-powered Mercury Grand Marquis for a value-packed price under $20,000. So visit your Mercury dealer today.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
Catch the holiday spirit at Tuskegee, starting with a fresh Christmas tree. Choose from balsam fir, Fraser fir, white pine, or the traditional Scotch pine starting at $12.99. Choose from a large selection of fresh or permanent wreaths. Permanent wreaths on sale for 25% off. Take home a poinsettia to brighten any room, starting at only $5.99. Wrap up your decorating with lights, ornaments, and decorations on sale now. And when you're doing your Christmas shopping, don't forget gifts for your pets. Tuskegee, Davenport, Bettendorf, and Moline. Tuskegee, where homes come to life.
Since 1871, the Rock Island Bank has been serving the Quad City area, and we've now grown and become this community's largest
locally owned bank. We value our relationships with our customers because we are your neighbor. Our community is very important
to us. And we make decisions right here that are best for our customers. That's real community banking power.
Come in and see how easy it is to do business with a local banker at the Rock Island Bank.
Broadcast rights to today's game have been granted to Sports Channel and Intersport by the Illinois High School Association. Any reproduction or rebroadcast of this event without the written consent of the IHSA, Intersport, and Sports Channel is prohibited. 2nd and 12 now. Blue Streaks from their own 46. Vatier, the quick pitch to Fritz, and he is wrapped up. Rock Island will not purchase that line. And down he goes. Another tackle for loss for the Rocks.
Well, Jimmy Lee made a fine tackle on that number 74 for Rock Island. They needed to make a play because Woodstock was pretty much having their way with their defense.
14 points aside in the first quarter. Just so as you know, the 5A title game scoring record, 40 points by Wheaton Warrenville South in 1992. And for two teams, the 5A record is 94 points. Vatier, 3rd and 14, takes the 5-step drop. Rainbows for Huebner. Oh, he had it, and then he dropped it. He turned inside, went outside, and couldn't find the handle.
That was a beautiful throw by Vatier there. And almost a spectacular catch over the shoulder. This is very tough to make. As you can see, Huebner looking over his shoulder there, almost pulled that down. That is a very hard catch to make. It was a great throw, though. Vatier was like, oh, man. That was a great throw by the kid.
If he was separated from his senses earlier by Britton and Rosenthal, I think that adrenaline has brought him right back. Vatier will punt. Hard rush by Britton, and a fair catch ordered by the coaching staff. You can hear it up here. 34-yard punt to Tubbs, no return.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard somebody shout fair catch. Wow, the audio team did a great job picking that one up. Oh, great job, audio team. That's the first time I couldn't help it. That's the first time I've ever heard someone come off the sideline to say fair catch. Oh, that was great.
Well, he yelled so loud, I'm surprised Tubbs didn't drop the ball. First and 10, 23-yard line. Jim O'Melia calling out the signals for Rock Island. And the handoff straight up the gut. That's Tony Motz on the carry.
You know, I bet you a lot of people are wondering, why do they keep mixing the ball? Why don't they give it to this Wise kid? He just seems like he can score almost every other time he touches it. But you want to keep a defense balanced. You want to keep them off guard. You don't want to just give it to them all the time because people key up for a great back. So you want to keep that offense balanced and attack the deep.
Jeff Brown, one of two 300-pounders on the offensive line, steps up at center. The handoff to Wise. And he is tackled by Brazil. Vic Boblet, the head coach at Rock Island. This is his 7th season heading the Rocks. He spent 4 years at Geneseo Darnall, and in 1990 he was downstate with them in a smaller class and finished 2nd in the title game. So 11 years, 90 wins, 30 losses. He is a disciple of Bob Reed, had a great career at Augustana in Division III. And once again, the handoff to the fullback.
Brian Sundberg, you know, he's really had a great game of blocking on offense, and he made a nice stick on that last play on defense. Now he's put him in a 4th down situation.
Rayshard Taylor giving Ashley Harris a blow. First down on the spot of the ball. Back we go to Pete Pranica.
Thanks, guys. I just sat in on the Rock Island defensive team meeting, and Al, you were talking about the rush upfield has to slow down. Well, that's exactly what they've done. They've told the defensive ends, don't head upfield until you know it is a pass. So, Al, great point. The Rock Island rush will probably slow down a little bit next time the Blue Streaks have the ball.
Rock Island takes a timeout. Al, I thought I saw a guy motioning upfield. I was wrong about that. 4th down is coming up, so Rock Island's going to talk it over. Let's talk a little bit longer about Vic Boblet and Bob Reed, who obviously Augustana's out in that area. He had, I can't remember, an 80-some-odd game winning streak with Augie. They won Division III championship after Division III championship, and you know what? Bob Reed didn't really believe in passing the football either.
He had that old, I guess, Woody Hayes mentality. 3 yards in the cloud of dust?
Yeah, if you pass the football, there's only 3 things that can happen, and 2 of them are bad.
Well, work for him. That's for sure. But it's changed nowadays. I mean, the passing game, the rules have allowed you to pass the ball better. You have the camps that teach young quarterbacks to throw better. So many more advantages to the passing game now.
Now, Coach goes out to have a word with his guys in the huddle. Let's talk about the strategy factor. You're 14 aside, 3 minutes not quite into the 2nd quarter. Rock Island has already used 2 of its timeouts.
I'm kicking the ball. I mean, you're tied 14 apiece. Definitely have to punt the ball.
Britton is going to punt the football. And you've used 2 timeouts to decide to punt.
I don't know why they even used a timeout on this one. I mean, they're right in the game. They didn't need to go for it.
Britton, sure-handed handling of the snap to Cashman, 40-yard line, and he just, the keel's over.
Did you see who covered on that play? Alonzo Wise. I was wondering, I saw this blur go by him, and I can see why it was a blur. They have their star player on punt coverage.
Gotta like that.
And you know what? That shows you the respect they have for Castning, though, because the way he broke that kick return, they said, we're going to put our best guys out there to make the play.
Well, Castning does. He's got the ability to make long plays on either side of the football. As we've come into the playoffs, Castning defensively has returned a couple of interceptions for touchdowns the last couple of rounds.
You know who the unsung hero so far for Woodstock, I think, is Roy Fritz, because, you know, he makes his mark more defensively, but right now, I mean, he's really made some big key plays for them on the offensive end.
You know, Al Fritz is the guy, and he's been rewarded at least because he's the guy that's been given the keys to the house. He's scored both touchdowns for them. So I think they probably recognize that. The tier hands off on the delay to Castning. Keeps those legs at chopping, and he is a yard or two, depending on the spot of the football, away from the first down marker. 3rd and 2.
You know, I'm just so surprised that they're able to run on Rock Island's big front like that. They have Matt Sabaki, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Yep. He's blocking against Justin Rosler, who is 6'2", 350, and Matt's only 5'10", 180. I mean, when you're looking at that, you think that definitely should be in Rosler's favor, but they're doing a great job right now.
Timeout is called by Woodstock. There were only 5 seconds on the play clock, so they'll burn one of their timeouts. 8 minutes remaining first half. We're tied at 14 at Hancock Stadium at ISU.
The coming of age of the adolescent grizzly bear. A strange rite of passage where they cry out for their most primal, urgent need.
Heaven help us if they ever learn the Macarena.
Pepsi, Generation Next.
Country Companies knows that starting a family is no small feat. So the least we could do is start giving you a break with mini rates on most minivans.
When it matters most, the country is behind you.
Doing, everybody?
Welcome back to normal with Pete Pranica on the sidelines. Al Harris, I'm Brian Davis, and we have had a very entertaining first 16 minutes here in the 5A championship game between two undefeated teams. 3rd down, Castning takes the pitch. He gains the stick, down he goes. He's tackled by Jason Britton, but he moves the sticks. 1st down in Rock Island territory.
That was outstanding blocking there by Woodstock on the outside. If you look down there, Hubner in there, they pull around Lawman around there. They had a great block in there by Hubner. He sealed him off. He allowed Castning to take that turn.
Matt
he really was the key for that 1st down.
Matt Sabaki had the good down block, and then Lehman pulled out and kicked out. Viteri hands to Castning after the false pitch. A couple of yards there.
Well, see, that's something I expected Rock Island to do earlier. I didn't think that small front could run against those big people, but they finally got a good stop in there. There's a big guy, Rosler, 350 pounds, 6'2". I don't know who could move him off. He's their Gilbert Brown.
Is it easier to pass block him or seal him off on a running play?
I think it's easier to pass block. Seal him off, I don't know how anyone can seal him off. At least not in high school.
2nd and 8. Viteri drops back and looks for Sundberg. Dangerous into double, triple coverage. He was covered well by Tyson Shivers, but J.J. Tubbs was in the neighborhood. So was the other cornerback, Tyler O'Donnell.
I'll tell you what, their secondary really are headsy guys. You can see why they have so many turnovers. They really break the ball extremely well.
Vic Boblet was concerned about the jump ball factor. Sundberg, for instance, 6'2", Shivers 5'11", Tubbs 5'10", O'Donnell 5'11". So Sundberg would have the advantage in a jump situation. Adam Viteri, one of the great things about him, he forces all his receivers to run their routes all the way out because he goes through his reads. And 3rd and 8, the play clock ran down, but not before the Blue Streaks, in heady fashion, call a timeout. So Viteri, you know, he just goes right down through 1, 2, 3, and you can't break off your route because that ball may wind up someplace that you should have been.
Yeah, I mean, you got to run your routes because that's a timing. That's all a timing thing. You can't suddenly make up your mind and, you know, to stop a certain place unless it's an option route. But if you're going through your route, your normal routes, and they expect you to run through, you got to go all the way through. But that's just a great job by Rock Island secondary. You can tell they have great anticipation, and they must have very good defensive backs, coach, because they react extremely well to the ball.
In the playoff opener against Fenwick High School, 28-0, the Blue Streaks won. He hit 6 different receivers.
Well, they have a very balanced offense. I mean, that's the big key. That's what's brought them there. He has over 2,000 yards in passing. I mean, he goes to a lot of different receivers. He has Castling. He has Fritz there. Rodney Cobb, who's out today, had 20 receptions for the season.
I think those cheerleaders are loving this weather, by the way. The Chicago Sun-Times newspaper network, the official newspapers of the IHSA State Championship. 3rd and 8. Viteri has hit 4 receivers already today. He's got to get something done here on 3rd down. Back he goes. Good protection. He's got his man. That's Brandon Eddy.
I tell you what, Viteri is just doing a great job. He's a very smart guy. As I think we shared it earlier, I think he's being recruited by Harvard. He knows where to go with the football. Just a nice play there by Eddie. I mean, just smart heads-up throw by a quarterback that way. He's just doing a great job.
Make that 5 receivers. Viteri is found today. Split backfield. Castling on the cutback, and he is hog-tied and roped down by Jimmy Lee.
Jimmy Lee is making a statement here. I think he's kind of said, you know what, not at my house. I mean, the last couple times he's made some big-time plays in there. Jimmy Lee is 5'11", 252. He's very quick. See him come down the line. Tackle the top back, too. He wrapped him up. You're not going to beat a guy 252 pounds. He puts his arms around you. You know, that's what they need. They need their guys to get emotionally involved in this game because Woodstock is going to keep moving down the field if they don't.
2nd and 11, loss of 1. Another tackle for loss for the Rocks. Viteri, the fake. He goes up, now has to pull it down. He escapes. Jimmy Lee tried to get him around the ankle, and now he's got Tyler O'Donnell chasing him around the right edge. But goodness gracious, chicken salad out of chicken something else. 1st down, Woodstock.
All right. And you know what? This guy is just such a smart quarterback. The play that he made, he pulls it down. Now watch this. He's looking back. He knows that secondary is very good. He pulls it. See, he pulls down, makes smart decisions. And he has some pretty good quickness there, too. Just turns the corner. Outruns Tyler O'Donnell for a while before O'Donnell's able to lasso him.
He usually scrambles to buy time, not to run. Now the handoff to Fritz coming left side. Great save. Fritz chased down by Moorlock and O'Donnell after a gain of about 5 yards.
This is their bread and butter play. They just keep bringing that old-fashioned counter OT, pulling the Sundberg and Brazil around, just running over people. Watch Brazil come around there, 61, and Sundberg. But see, this time they adjusted to it a little bit. O'Donnell got up in that hole, didn't give him that big option just to run in there. He tightened it up. That's what you need to do on that counter OT. You need to get a lot of penetration, trip those linemen up that are pulling.
This will be the 11th play of Woodstock's drive. Viteri again, same deal. Fritz, same way, same result. He gets hammered, but again, he gets positive yardage.
See, they tried the same play again. They got better penetration. But Fritz did a good job of turning it up the field. See, they pull again, but they get good penetration. They see that? But he cuts inside. That's a great job by Roy Fritz there.
They're going to measure.
He saw the blockers getting cut off, and he cut back inside. But that's what you want to do defensively. Get that pressure, penetrate, make him cut back inside that you can get help.
Just shy a foot or so, so 3rd and inches. Let's call it 3rd and less than 1. As Woodstock, one of the things that Vic Boblet was worried about was the dive play that the Blue Streaks run with the second back through.
You have that lead back coming through there a lot of times. That's the extra blocker.
So the ball is at the 3. Eddie split to the far side. Casting near side and Fritz far side in the split backfield. Vatier to Casting this time, and he scores. Craig Casting gives Woodstock the lead.
That was a beautiful call by Buckner. That was a beautiful call by Buckner. What happened was Rock Island shifted down at the last minute. They moved their front. They moved their front down, and he ran right on the outside. And there's just only 1 or 2 guys there. You have a great back like Casting, it's going to be easy touchdown. That was a great call.
Basically an ISO on Morlock, who was playing off the ball right at about the goal line. Now Vatier will try to make it a 7-point lead. And he does. So Woodstock, this time, no lightning, just a boring old march down the field.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, this is just like, we've been fortunate just to have a lot of great games, and one's definitely started up here. I mean, I'm telling you what, though, I mean, Woodstock is well coached. See the shift, see the line shift down, now everybody's in there tight. They think it's going right up the middle. See him shift down, but what they're going to do, they're going to run to the right outside. They run away from the strength of the defense. Great call there, and Casting beats Morlock, who's their best tackler. That was just a great call. That shows you they scouted a lot what these guys did on the goal line. They probably anticipated the shift down, and they just ran on the outside. Great coaching.
In tribute to Jason Morlock, his coach says he's around the ball constantly. The most instinctive linebacker I have seen in 22 years of coaching. There's your scoring drive.
Well, you know, that was great. You have the best player on Rock Island's defense against the best player on the Blue Streaks offense, Casting and Morlock. And look who's waiting back there, Mr. Excitement.
Woodstock converted all 3 third downs on the drive. Mr. Excitement is to the near side. Adam Hill is to the far side. We're talking about Alonzo Wise, number 25. His front switched again. No, this time he gets it up.
Wow,
and Hill takes it at the goal line. Indeed a great kick. And Hill sprints his seam, but then he gets hammered. Dave Davis put the lumber on him after a 25-yard return.
Boy, did he get hammered. But that was an awesome kick.
Look at him limping off.
Now, it's drove him all the way back into the end zone. And these guys are well coached, and oh, he gets it right in the thigh. Probably got a Charlie horse there. Great tackle.
Now, he took that kick and floated back into the end zone.
Yeah, he got a Charlie horse, as you can tell right there.
1st and 10 from the 23-yard line, and the handoff to the fullback. That's Ashley Harris.
You know who got hurt? Hill. He's the cornerback, so let's pay attention to that. He's their starting right corner, so we have to pay attention to that. He looks like he has a Charlie horse.
He has been trading time with Tyson Shivers, another senior over there. We have seen Shivers some already this afternoon. And now Wise spinning, dancing, first downing.
Does that guy just scare you? I mean, if I'm a Woodstock fan, I'm sitting on my hands going, oh gosh, I'll let that guy get loose. Look at that, great spin moves. I mean, guys try to get a shot of him. It's hard to get a good shot at him.
Fritz and Kastning finally brought him down after some initial contact a couple of yards on the field.
Look at these stats. 15.1 yard average.
That's insane. Here it comes again. Well, this time Brazil and Fritz fill the hole, and he winds up getting gang tackled on first down.
Hill number 41 for Rock Island comes to the bench. They are taping his left thigh. Apparently he has a thigh bruise. They're taping the pad in place, trying to keep that a little bit tighter, and he's getting up now from the bench, trying to walk it off. Brian?
Thank you, Pete Pranica. Second down and 7, 38-yard line. And now Amelia will pass. Floats it out, and look at that. All by his lonesome is John Lillis.
Nice pass by Jim O'Mealy on that play. As we shared, he's not a very good percentage passer, but he lofted that out there really nice to Lillis. And he has pressure, too. He looks back. Good job of floating it out there. John Lillis does a nice job of getting his shoulders forward to get the first down. He knew where the flags were.
Kastning didn't settle down, and so Matt Hubner came up to make the tackle. 49-yard line, wide on 1st and 10, and now Woodstock on this particular drive is really filling well. That looks like the makings of the same play, Al, of the two that he's busted for touchdowns.
Well, I was just going to mention that's a great observation there, Brian, because he's been running strictly to that right side. I don't know if that's just his favorite side to run, or they notice someone defensively on Woodstock that might be weaker on that side. But he has popped a few on that side.
Marco Zamorano on the tackle, at least the initial hit. There were about 6 guys wearing white in there. Woodstock showing blitz.
Now we have a situation, because we have a team that does not strike downfield, time could possibly play a factor in this drive. Just right about a minute, 50 seconds left.
Tony Mons gets it to 3rd and 4. No third down conversions today for the Rocks. Hand off to Wise. Well, there's their first one.
This guy is awesome. He has someone hanging on him, and he jumps over the defender at the same time. Watch this. He hits through the hole. He has a couple guys hanging on him, and he jumps over the defender. My goodness.
Here's the pitch to Wise again. Gets a good seam. Gains about 6. Yeah, he had Worth. He had Sundberg. He jumped over Kastning.
Why the guy was hanging on him? The guy's only 180 pounds.
Yeah, but did you see him on the field today, Al?
Yeah, he's put together.
He's exactly right. He is ripped. And here it is to Harris. He's going to be short. Inside a minute now for the first half.
Well, see here, this is a big key here. I mean, they still have plenty of time if you're a passing offense. And I guess if you have Alonzo Wise in the backfield, that's plenty of time, because he can get there in about 4 seconds if you need him to.
Stay tuned, because we'll go straight from the 5A game to the 6A game next on Sports Channel. Mike Lederman and Jack McInerney will have the call. This one is going to be awesome. Lincoln Way and Addison Trail. Lock up the women and children.
I'll tell you, we've had some great football games here at the championships. But you know what? The key here we got to pay attention to now, Brian, no more timeouts. 53 seconds left, but no more timeouts for Rock Island. So this is going to be crucial for them to get on the field and do the things they have to do.
There's probably a better way to put that. I should probably say that that game coming up, the 6A game, is not for the faint of heart. We don't want to leave anybody with the wrong impression.
No, we knew what you meant. We knew what you meant. You're a peaceful guy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Is my father here? That's his line. All right, the pitch. Mons, he's going to throw it. Back to Amelia. goodness.
That was a great call by Boblet. That was a great call. I mean, just have the guys there to make the plays. O'Meala just gets out underneath, a little bit in front of him. QB should catch that, though.
He put enough air under it that even though initially, see, now we're in 4-down territory.
Yeah, this is 4th down. This is the big play now.
Oh, great play. Second effort, he's not going to make it.
You know who that was, don't you? The Fritz. Roy Fritz, he's the leader on their team. Great numbers there, but that was a huge play. I'm surprised they ran it so close on the inside. I would think you get him outside, let him play one-on-one, but Fritz filled the hole. They got up there really quick, Brian. You know, they wanted to get the play run really quick. I don't know if they got set, but Fritz obviously knew what was going on. You talked about earlier, Brian, this being a very smart team.
Roy Fritz, 101 tackles. He had 16 tackles. We mentioned the first-round victory over Fenwick. He had 16 tackles for Fenwick game. Now the handoff to Cashman. He is chased down. Terry Rosenthal.
Now that was a big play for Woodstock because going into the second half, they get the ball, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, that's they could go up by 2 touchdowns to get a drive right away.
Blue Streaks won the toss and deferred to Rock Island to open the game. They're exactly right.
Now all you do is run it out, get the ball in the second half. That was a big stop by them. But that shows you, a team that can't throw the ball down the field that well, they're going to be handicapped.
So the first half expires, and we've seen some big plays, and we've seen some drive engineering, and Woodstock goes to the dressing room on the lead at 21-14.
That's just great coaching by both teams right now. I mean, we have an exciting game. Don't go away, folks. This is going to be great.
Greg Castning, I'm waiting for him to get into the house. This guy's, his numbers are so gaudy. In a playoff victory over McKesney Park, Harlem, he had 3 touchdowns, including 2 in 2 minutes time. 86 yards on an interception return. This is an explosive team. Pete Pranica is downstairs on the sideline.
I'm here with Coach Ed Brucker of Woodstock, and outside of those Alonzo Wise touchdowns, you guys defended it pretty well, particularly on that 4th down play.
I was pleased with the defense, except for those 2 plays. We got to find, he's a good back. We got to find a way to try to stop him a little better.
Any adjustments you might make to that end at the half?
We're looking at a few things. We made a little bit of adjustments there at the end, so it seemed to work pretty well. So we're going to try to talk it over here and see if we can straighten it out.
Does your game last year in the playoffs against them help you today?
Yes, a little bit. We learned a few things about last year playing defense. We gave up 44 points to them, so we're trying to keep it down under that right now.
Okay, good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you very much.
All right, we are tied 14-14 at the half. Or, I'm sorry, 21-14 Woodstock out in front.
Chicago sports fans are known across the country for their savvy. What's the primary source of that savvy? The savviest sports writing team in Chicago, the staff of the Chicago Sun-Times sports section. It's a team that writes with style and substance. A team that doesn't just cover, but uncovers, too. A team that's concise, precise, and feisty. Come on now, get savvy. Get hold of the Sun-Times today.
Having peace of mind the Keeper from the Country Companies brings. If your car is damaged and the cost of the repairs exceeds the cost of a new car, we'll replace it with a brand new one, same make and model.
Long's Carpet and Interior is more than just a business. Long is our family name. As a member of the Quad City Home Builders, we've decorated homes and businesses throughout the Quad Cities for over 10 years. We've got all that you need to create the room you've dreamed of. Quality brand name carpeting by Horizon and Mohawk. Vinyl floor covering by Armstrong, Tarkett, and Congolium. Florida ceramic tile, Harris Tarkett hardwood flooring, and a large selection of commercial tile flooring. For everything from floors and walls to windows, we work with you to make every room special. Long's Carpet and Interior, Rock Island.
Hey, check it out. How about a free CD of your choice? This weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, buy $50 or more of your favorite fashion gear from Barkins, and we'll give you a free CD of your choice from Co-op Records in Rock Island. Get the new stuff from Dada, P&B Nation, Aniche, boots and outerwear from Lugs, First Down, and Perry Ellis, Fila, Adidas. Regular price, sale price. $50 or more gets you a free CD. Barkins in the District, Rock Island. We're coming through for you.
Halftime in the 5A game at Hancock Stadium in Normal, Illinois. Welcome back to Illinois State University. We are at halftime, the 5A game. One more to go. It's championship weekend here. Welcome back. With Al Harris, I'm Brian Davis. And Al, we have seen just about everything. We saw some lightning quick scoring in the first half. We saw some good mechanical, physically dominant drives. We saw turnovers that were converted by both teams. Had everything.
Yeah, we do. We just have two fine coach teams with great athletes on both sides of the ball that make great plays.
You know, one of the things that's really satisfying about this, last year we played some of these playoff games in really unfavorable conditions, but this year, I mean, we've got a darn nice day. Temperatures about 60, and, you know, the fact of the matter is we can see these teams trot out everything that they have, and you got to love that.
Yeah, you love that because you don't want anyone to be limited by adverse conditions, and you have great players making great plays, great coaching, you know, making great adjustments on both sides of the ball. You can let it all air out.
What kind of adjustments do you make for either side if you're Ed Brucker for Woodstock or if you're Vic Boblet for Rock Island?
Well, if I'm Woodstock, right now, I'm very pleased with what I'm doing. I'm just looking at Wise, you know, he's a great player, you know, and they looked at it and they say, hey, he's going to make some plays, but I'll just tighten down a little bit and adjust. If I can control him, I feel very good.
I touched on this earlier. I wonder if Woodstock now in the second half of it goes to close and goes for the kill, might put the ball a little bit more in Craig Castning's hands when it really comes down to money time.
I would think so, but, you know, Fritz is doing a great job also running the football, but that's what you would want to do. Now, on Rock Island's side, you have to control that balanced offense. You want to get some pressure on their quarterback, Vitier, because he, I think, really is the key to that team. He makes those big plays when they need to be made.
When we come back to ISU, Pete Pranica will be in conversation with Taylor Bell of the Chicago Sun-Times. Delighted to have you along on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Normal, Illinois.
This IHSA Football Championship is brought to you by Ameritech. In a world of technology, people make the difference. And by the Chicago Sun-Times newspaper network. At over 800,000 copies in Chicago and the suburbs, it's the difference between just advertising in Chicago and owning it.
It's time to save big on 97 Mercury Sable. Right now, get 1.9% APR for a total savings of up to $42.12 on the 97 Mercury Sable LS. With a powerful V6 and loads of convenient features, like a split fold seat and a flip fold center console. Inventory is limited, so get to your Mercury dealer for big savings on Sable of 1.9% APR for up to $42.12 in total savings. See your Mercury dealer before the 97 Sables disappear. Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
Chicago sports fans are known across the country for their savvy. What's the primary source of that savvy? The savviest sports writing team in Chicago, the staff of the Chicago Sun-Times sports section. It's a team that writes with style and substance. A team that doesn't just cover, but uncovers, too. A team that's concise, precise, and feisty.
Jack wears a beeper, like one of those doctors on TV. Anytime there's a flood or a disaster or something like that, Uncle Jack's the guy who beep. He works for Ameritech. So when people are like hiding in their basements from tornadoes, eating candy bars, he's 100 feet up in the air. Last winter when there was no snow here, they flew into a giant storm in Indiana at 2 in the morning. How cool is that?
Sports News Primetime. We are there. Dennis Rodman, the NBA's rebound king of the 90s. Monday, is he still bad man of the boards or no longer bad as he wants to be? Only on Fox Sports News Primetime.
We are at halftime at Hancock Stadium in Normal. Woodstock leading Rock Island 21-14. I'm here with Taylor Bell of the Chicago Sun-Times. And Taylor, it's been a very, very entertaining first half, highlighted by Alonzo Wise, but Woodstock has forged out in front 21-14.
It's almost like you expect the team that has the ball last to win this one. I'm not surprised. I saw Woodstock last week against Bishop McNamara, and it's the first time I've ever seen a Catholic League school whipped like the whipping that Woodstock gave them. It's just a tremendous amount of offense that Woodstock puts on the field, and they're showing that here. But as you mentioned, Alonzo Wise in the first half, I've got him for about 13 carries and 145 yards, and of course the 2 long touchdowns, and they really didn't start to give the ball to him until the last few minutes of the second quarter. So you have to think that the second half they're going to let him carry the ball and run behind those 300-pound linemen a little bit more in the second half. Woodstock's going to have to find a way to keep him from breaking this thing open.
He looks to be a good prospect, also coming from the same area as Tavian Banks of Iowa.
Well, as a matter of fact, as I understand it, he broke Banks' career rushing record during the first half. More yardage than anyone in the Quad Cities has ever rushed for, so gives you a pretty good indication. Now he's 5'9", but he's got good speed, good moves, and I understand Nebraska and Iowa, some Big Ten schools are definitely looking at him, so he's certainly shown out here that he's got that kind of talent.
Any other Division I prospects, regardless of class here?
Well, no, you know, the thing that's always amazing, yesterday you see Class 1 and 2A, and you see some big people like Tim Vincent of Galena, and you got to think that people have to be looking at him and the 2 great running backs in the 2A game, Ryan Jones from St. Joseph Ogden and Perry Jordan from Central A&M certainly looked outstanding. Of course, we know about David Popp and Eric Steinbach from Providence. Steinbach already committed to Iowa. So, and then in the next game, you've got Dan Rumashek from Addison Trails already committed to Michigan. Brian Taylor from Addison, their 2-way backs, committed to Stanford already, and Corey Paz, the great quarterback from Lincoln Way, already committed to UCLA. Those are the kind of kids that you really look for in a state championship game. As we call them the difference makers, I guess the coaches like to refer to them as, because they're the kids that usually you look to rise a little bit above. When you get a game like we have right here, we're looking for maybe a Alonzo Wise or an Adam Batir or a Craig Casting to just make the big play that's going to make the difference here in the second half in this game.
Quick preview of our 6A game, Addison Trail and Lincoln Way.
Well, Lincoln Way's got so much great offense. I mean, Paws throws the ball very well. They've got Rich Shutt and Matt Joseph. A lot of offense from Lincoln Way, and Addison Trail's going to have to find a way to shut them down, because as Paul Parpet said, the one thing he can't coach against or even practice against is the great speed they have, and Shutt is a breakaway back.
Okay. Taylor Bell with Pete Pranica here at the half at Hancock Stadium in Normal. We'll be back with first half highlights, and there were a bunch after we take this break on Sports Channel.
In my business, when I need something, I always need it fast. Who comes through for me? My local Granger. 2-way radios, lamps, power tools, flashlights, they got it all, and they help me get it right. Want to keep your business running smoothly? Talk to Granger. They got more ways to keep your business running right.
Like every lamp that GE Lighting offers, products that exceed your expectations.
Things that you hold close, we do too. Sharing your dreams and seeing you through. Bright tomorrows, human sorrows. It's nice to know when it matters most, the country's behind you.
Life being what it is, ensure some peace of mind with safe and sound car insurance. It's affordable. It's for people just starting out on their own. And it's from the country companies.
It's time to save big on Mercury Mountaineer. Right now, get 1.9% APR for a total savings of up to $54.60 on 97 Mercury Mountaineer. With powerful all-wheel drive that'll give you the confidence to drive anywhere. Inventory is limited, so get to your Mercury dealer for big savings on a 97 Mountaineer, like 1.9% APR for up to $54.60 in total savings. See your Mercury dealer before the 97 Mountaineers disappear. Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
Pepsi theft. It can happen anywhere, anytime. Fight back. Introducing the Pepsi Club. Now Pepsi moments don't have to become anxious moments.
Excuse me.
What you were about to see did not actually happen, but it could happen.
They took everything! Look, Ma, the Pepsi Club works.
Not today. Thank you, Pepsi Club.
Pepsi, Generation Next.
Available in 6-pack.
We're Neon Clemente, 1985, and I got a chance to run the ball a la William Refrigerator Perry at the time. I didn't get the touchdown. I had about 11 guys on me at the 1-yard line pushing me back. My coaches, they taught me the most important thing that I learned throughout my football career is determination and desire, and not to give up, keep going. You have to be prepared.
The IHSA Class 6A Football Championship, next on Sports Channel.
Welcome back to Hancock Stadium. Brian Davis and Al Harris, and we brought our attitudes. You take a look here, the symbol of the Illinois High School Association sportsmanship campaign, and we've seen some good sportsmanship. We've seen basically some good sports out here, some great play as we take a look now, Al, at our first half highlights, and there were a ton of them. First quarter, well, here's the man, Alonzo Wise for Rock Island.
Well, this guy, I mean, he just has tremendous speed, just turns it on down the field. No one's going to catch him.
Now, I did not mean on the ensuing kickoff, I think about this now, I didn't mean to sell Craig Casting short because Roy Fritz was able to belly up the table because this guy set the table.
Yeah, he set the table up with a great return, great vision. He cut back against the grain, made a big play for Woodstock.
54 yards on the kickoff return, and then look at this catch on the screen pass.
Man, a la David Pop from yesterday, great one-handed stab. Big play for them.
So then from 45 to 44, Roy Fritz, not to be denied.
Roy Fritz has been a big-time running back for them. He's also involved with Casper.
So far, this is the one moment that Rock Island would really like to have back.
Yep, you can't have mistakes on special teams. They get a high snap, puts Woodstock in great position.
Very next play, as a matter of fact. Here come the blue streaks, and here comes Roy Fritz again.
Roy Fritz has been running that play with Sundberg pulling around, making the key block.
Now, this is one that Adam Vatier and Woodstock would like to have back. J.J. Tubbs with the Oski.
I don't think Adam Vatier remembered that play. He got rocked pretty good by the two-star defensive ends.
And so as Woodstock turned right around and hit Rock Island in the mouth, ditto Alonzo Wise on the first play from scrimmage off the turnover.
This guy is like throwing mercury on a pan going downhill. He's too fast.
41 yards. And that was only the first quarter, guys. We're into the second quarter. Vatier, look at this. Has a notion, pulls it down, and takes off.
That's why he looks like he could be a future Ivy League player. He knows when to throw and when to pull it down.
Now, if you're looking for performance measurement by touchdown, Craig Kashnick gets on the board, and that's the margin right now, 21-14, as Woodstock leads Rock Island, even though statistically, Rock Island has the edge at least on the ground, which is where they had to have it.
Well, they have it on the ground. They have, they also have it in time of possession right now. But Woodstock is the more balanced offense, as you can see, more passing yards. They can beat you in more ways. The first downs you're looking at is a big key. They had 2 extra first downs. The third down conversions also very good.
Third down conversions really important for Rock Island. They've got to get better. 1 of 7. They trail by 7. Second half upcoming at Hancock Stadium.
In 1993, you could drive a new Mercury Grand Marquis for under $20,000. Since then, we've made it more distinctive, more luxurious, more durable, even safer. But there's one thing we left well enough alone: the price. For a limited time, drive the legendary V8-powered Mercury Grand Marquis for a value-packed price under $20,000. So visit your Mercury dealer today.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
Who's the big man that slams the world with just one hand? You're damn
Acting is being.
Can't quite put my finger on it. Something just ain't right. That's what I've been missing.
Don't even think about it. Pepsi. Generation Next.
Please?
Nah.
Take a look at a Wayne Dalton garage door and all you see is a pretty face, right? But what you don't see is that this is one tough door. Now here's one of theirs. It looks pretty good on the surface, but they really are a step down. You want a garage door that's more than just a pretty face?
Call Adams Door Company in the Quad Cities at 359-3741 and in Galesburg at 342-1893.
Well, you want a Wayne Dalton door.
Since 1871, the Rock Island Bank has been serving the Quad City area, and we've now grown and become this community's largest
locally owned bank. We value our relationships with our customers because we are your neighbor. Our community is very important
to us. And we make decisions right here that are best for our customers. That's real community banking power.
Come in and see how easy it is to do business with a local banker at the Rock Island Bank.
It's beginning to rain a little bit here at Hancock Stadium. Let's go downstairs. Pete Pranica.
Thanks, Brian. With Coach Vic Boblet of Rock Island. Coach, pretty even first half. Any adjustments for the second?
Well, no, we just got to make plays on defense, and, you know, we feel real confident that we're moving the ball well, as I'm sure they feel as well, but it's just a great game between two teams, and we got to limit our mistakes. We had 2 breakdowns on special teams.
Okay, good luck in the second half.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's Coach Vic Boblet. Back up top to Brian and Al.
Pete, thanks very much. Pete and Taylor Bell at halftime got into a conversation about what Woodstock did to Bishop McNamara, the #1 ranked team in 5A. Rich Zanani, Mac's coach, said their execution was awesome. And again, we continue to tell the story of Craig Castning in that game. 18 carries, 134 yards, and he had a 45-yard interception return. There's Castning. And after the game, he said, you know, we proved we can play some ball in the Fox Valley. There have been people who say that it's not the same quality. Well, guess what? They're here. Cary Grove took the other guys that are on this field to overtime in a semifinal game. I think, and in fact, Ed Rucker says, hey, how about the Fox Valley? And well, they should brag.
And you have a lot of people moving up into the suburbs now. You have, you know, each year when you have more people to choose from, you're going to get better and better players. And you know, it's a young community that's growing up there, and I think that, you know, they're going to have good players for years to come.
J.J. Tubbs can choose between Castning on the far side and Fritz on the near side, should he choose to send it that far. But he does not. Again on the squib, and it's taken by Matt Clark Johnson. Pulled down shy of the 30-yard line. Tackle made on the play by Kevin Raisbeck, junior special teamer.
Now, Brian, you know, we talked about it's going to start raining a little bit. One of the big keys we may need to watch out for, Rock Island gets a lot of turnovers. They've caused 40 fumbles, and they've recovered 26, and they've also picked up 14 interceptions. So when the ball gets a little slick and wet, look for Rock Island possibly to get some good turnovers here.
Woodstock operating now 1st and 10 from the 29, out of the I. Castning takes the pitch, gets a seam up front, but it is filled well. Jimmy Lee had a part of that, but the initial contact, wow, Tyson Shivers coming up from the secondary.
Well, they need to make a statement right away. And, you know, this is what they need to do. They need to make a statement right away to get the ball right back in their offense's hands.
You mentioned earlier that the tier is being looked at by Harvard. Craig Castning has a chance, and it's a different process, obviously, but he's got a chance to go to West Point, to the U.S. Military Academy, and play for Army.
Wow, that's really great. I mean, that shows you what these schools are doing educationally you know, for their kids. And that's the big thing. Most of these guys will never see a day in pro ball, and that's why it's so important to develop them scholastically. So, you know, that's a great job by Woodstock.
Fritz, the ball carrier on the previous play. Interesting, Army is coming into Conference USA next year as well after all those years as an independent. Conference USA based in Chicago. DePaul is among its members. DePaul Blue Demons basketball only. Conference USA had a pretty good football school in southern Mississippi this year. Batier rolling right. And he's just going to pull it down and go, and he's chased out of bounds. Some contact with Tyler O'Donnell, but he was chased out by one of the big guys, number 89, Jason Britton.
Justin Rossler, he's trying to run out there, big number 79. I don't think he's going to have much chance in this race here. 350 pounds. He's not going to catch him, but Adam was very fortunate he didn't fall on him because it would have been over.
So 1st and 10. You're right, that was Rossler, not Britton. And again out of the eye. The handoff to Caston. Stutter steps, and look at the effort there. Classic football. Basic coaching. Fundamentals. Keep your feet moving.
You saw nice fundamentals offensively, poor fundamentals defensively on that tackle. He slips out the gate, but he keeps his feet. Now, he should be wrapped up right there by the big fellow, Rossler, but he doesn't bring him down.
Pete Brannica's downstairs.
Folks at home, watch Batier casually walk to the line. He's already making a read on the defense, looking left and right. Very, very confident, very, very poised, Brian. That is key.
No question about it, and he hands off to Caston, who charges forward, gets past the stick for the first down. That's it. He looks around, and we talked earlier about how he goes through his reads. He doesn't give the defense time to react because he does not lock on to receivers.
No, he doesn't. I mean, he's just very smart, very well coached. You know, I like in these two teams, really, Brian, if you think of boxers, I would think of Woodstock kind of like George Foreman. You know, they throw that big haymaker with Wise. I mean, they just knock you out with that big play. And I look at Woodstock more like a Muhammad Ali type. I mean, they throw so many different things at you. They come at you from so many different directions. They're extremely smart in what they're doing. That's not saying Woodstock is, Rock Island's not. But they seem to hit you with so many things from so many different directions.
Inches shy as Ed Brucker sends Rodney Cobb into the game. Cobb was able to dress. He's just been limited by that ankle injury. 3rd and less than a yard, considerably less than a yard.
Now, this is a big series for Rock Island. They have to make a stop. They can't afford to get down 2 touchdowns.
The Rocks run that monster 5-2 as their base defense, and they stay in it, and Caston charges through, and he's finally driven back, but wow, he got the first down and then some.
Casting has great leg drive, as you're going to see here. Now watch his leg drive. He hits that hole pretty quick, and the guys will make contact with him there, and he's going to keep driving. He's keep pulling. I mean, he's pulling the pile of those big old boys from Rock Island. He keeps pulling them. That's a sign of outstanding running back.
Ball is spotted at the Rock Island 42. So once again, Woodstock in Rock's territory. Delayed handoff to Fritz, and this time he is met, and he is dropped in a hurry.
By Mr. Terry Rosenthal. See, this is what they needed on that counter play. They've been pulling around over and over again with Fritz running back against the counter on the weak side. But Rosenthal gets great pressure up there. Actually, they're going to the strong side. See him meet the guard there? Great play by Rosenthal. He blew that. That's what we call blowing up the play in the backfield. Get great penetration, nail the guard before he gets a chance to run you over.
Rosenthal did a good job, and he had some help back there as well. Tyler Carroll was up from strong safety. 2nd and 16 now. Batier to pass, and he hits his man right in the numbers, and Matt Hubner just can't hang on to the football.
That's what you call Matt Hubner was so wide open, he was looking downfield to run before he caught the football. And you can see he's very disgusted with himself by that. He knows that should have been an easy catch. Now, one thing, if you're Rock Island, you don't want, your defensive ends were very aggressive. Now, there you go again. See, he was just looking, he just caught on his chest. He wasn't looking for the ball. One thing, if you're Rock Island, you want your defensive ends, even though a couple of screen plays you got upfield, you want them to get aggressive. Because this is definitely a passing play.
3rd and 16, lone setback is Fritz, picks up the block. Vatier scrambles right, fires downfield. It's tipped. Morlock had a chance at the interception as Vatier, in desperation, fired the ball in the direction of Rodney Cobb.
I'll tell you what, Rock Island's pass defense is as fine as I've seen in the playoffs here so far. Watch the way they react to the ball. Look at that. I mean, those guys are all around. I mean, it's like very dangerous to throw in their secondary. They react extremely well.
Look how he closed on that ball. Hey, this man, he's 6'2" and 185 pounds, and he closed on the ball like some of the better cornerbacks that you'll see.
They have great anticipation back there in the secondary.
Vatier punts, going for the corner, and doesn't get enough of it, so touchback with 8 minutes and change remaining in the 3rd quarter. And
trying to get
Rock Island, exactly right, looking for a little bit of help.
Trying to get the crowd pumped up a little bit, get the crowd back into the game. That's a big stop for them.
One thing that helps Rock Island is its speed. Remember, folks, that Rock Island has got a state champion caliber track team. You think there's a little, the buzzword these days, Al, is synergy. You think there's a little synergy between the track team and the football team?
Might be more of a synergy. I know that's not a word, but I'm trying to use, when you get singed by somebody blowing by you so fast, that might be more the speed of them.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Ashley Harris, the ball carrier on 1st down for Vic Boblet. The Rocks, by the way, we talked earlier about the Blue Streaks being out of the Fox Valley. The Rocks play in the Western Big Six. Gain of 6. And the handoff this time outside to Mons. He turns the corner. He's close to a 1st down.
Now, we talked about Roy Fritz being the unsung hero on Woodstock's offense. Also talk about Tony Mons being the unsung hero on Rock Island's offense. Because they're not the star, you know, they're the co-stars. They're not the stars of their offense. They're the co-stars for the stars Wise and Casting. So both of them are doing good jobs.
So 1st and 10, indeed, he does get past the stick. 31-yard line is where this play will start. O'Melia to Wise. And he gets up into the hole. The ball comes out. What's the call? Woodstock recovers. Alonzo Wise puts it on the ground. Vic Boblet can't believe it. Woodstock ball inside the Rock Island 35-yard line.
Well, we were talking about Rock Island's ability to make turnovers or to create them. You also have to look at Woodstock. Here we got the star player in there, Wise. Great stick in there by the unsung hero. We talked about Roy Fritz. They separate the football. Great recovery. But you see him, look at Wise. He said, my bad. I'll bring it back, my bad.
So 1st and 10 now to 34. They're not quite in the red zone, but Woodstock is definitely in the yellow zone, and Casting has eyes for the red part. Here he goes. He's got eyes for the end zone. It's a foot race. Craig Casting scores. 34 yards.
They can beat you so many ways. So many ways. Passing. They have multiple backs that can attack you. Just a little counter there. Quick hitter right up the middle. He has excellent vision, Casting does, and he just turns on the speed there, outruns O'Donnell.
Tyler O'Donnell got his feet crossed up. He had a blocker come at him but didn't make clean contact. But O'Donnell, in worrying about that guy, was being taken to the far side of the field as Kastner broke to the near side. Batir's extra point is good, and now Woodstock in the lead by 2 touchdowns. 7:06 remaining third quarter in the 5A championship game at Hancock Stadium in Normal.
What you doing? Just dropping Mom some hints to call Uncle Bob at the Ameritech gift hotline so we get what we want this year.
Cordless phones that let you talk for blocks. Pagers so you're always reachable. You'll find great gifts at the Ameritech gift hotline. Call 1-800-709-LINK to order and enter our sweepstakes where you could win your dream home.
What are you doing? Just making sure I get that cool new phone. Very subtle.
Chicago sports fans are known across the country for their savvy. What's the primary source of that savvy? The savviest sports writing team in Chicago, the staff of the Chicago Sun-Times sports section. It's a team that writes with style and substance. A team that doesn't just cover, but uncovers, too. A team that's concise, precise, and feisty. Come on now, get savvy. Get hold of the Sun-Times today.
Scoring drives in this game, and Woodstock has 2 of them, all of them off of turnovers.
Right away, they have struck twice off, the high snap, and this off the fumble. Kastner just explodes out of there. Big touchdown. Off of the mistake by Alonzo Wise.
Brian Sundberg is going to squib it again for the Blue Streaks. The notion is to keep it away from Alonzo Wise. Though they don't. This time they kick it right to him. 13-yard line. Past the 20. Cuts back. Takes a hit. And Brazil rolled into him. Knocked him sideways. And then he's finished off after a 16-yard return. Let's go downstairs to Pete Pranica. Pete, I think they call it sudden change.
They do indeed, and you see some glazed over eyes on the Rock Island sideline. They are in shock. Number 89, Jason Britton, defensive end, sitting on the bench, shoulder slumped, head down. He's got to get his head back in the game. Rock Island not out of this game as long as Alonzo Wise is toting the mail, guys.
And here he comes with his mail bag in hand.
You know what, guys? I have a feeling we're going to see a steady diet of him on this. I have a feeling he walked over to Coach and said, you know, Coach, let me get us back in this game. I got us out of it. Let me get us back in. I have a feeling they're going to give him a steady diet of the ball now.
Vic Boblet says that sometimes it's almost in the cards that you can't win, but championship teams find a way. Against Cary Grove, they had outgained Cary Grove 200 yards to 20 in the first half and yet led only 7-0. Wise slips 1 tackle and then turns it upfield. Cary Grove had no first downs, but again, Rock Island led that game only 7-0 at the half. Against Moline earlier in the season, they dominated Rock Island in the first half, but only led 7-0. Rock Island wound up coming back to win 15-12. Boblet says we have been in those kind of games. By the way, Ed Rucker there, it's sort of a homecoming for him. When he walked into the field house this morning, he probably had a little flashback. He played basketball here at Illinois State. O'Melia hands it off to the fullback, Ashley Harris.
Now, I tell you what, Amelia is going to be in great shape running back and forth between that sideline, especially being stretched to the other side of that field. He's dashing over there immediately after the play is over, trying to get that play in there pretty quick, make sure they can capitalize, because they're not a long striking offense as far as the passing game is concerned.
Wise has 154 yards rushing. Woodstock, by the way, is 1 touchdown away from the 5A title game record. Wise gets a seam as he cuts it back the gap closes, and he is taken down. Bob Moore, one of the tacklers on that play, along with Roy Fritz.
You know, Boblett's doing an excellent job here. He realizes his star wants to make up for that mistake he made, and you got to put it in the best guy's hands at this point to get the momentum back for your football team. As Pete pointed out earlier, there was shell shock down there, so you want to get it back in his hands.
2nd and 3, 43. It's in the hands of the fullback Harris, and he gets a good gain across the 50 into Woodstock territory. Checking on the injury report, Pete Pranica.
Okay, Adam Hill had a tightness in his left thigh, so what they did is they taped the pad down a little bit harder. He was in earlier, wasn't able to go full speed. Vic Boblett says, nope, sorry, we need guys that can go full speed. He just went to Coach Boblett, says, hey, wait, it's a championship game. I got to get in there on the next defensive series, so he was sprinting up and down, trying to get ready.
We'll see. As straight ahead goes Tony Montz, and he is tackled and buried. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on the ball, and another standing next to the pile.
Well, you need that type of gang tackling, but it's so important right now for the Rocks to get right back down and get a score here to get their confidence back. You know, and find as many ways as possible to get Wise out there one-on-one. You need to get him out there exposed. You don't want to get him in there where a lot of guys can get a shot at him.
Earlier today, Alonzo Wise was averaging 15 yards a carry, and now he's taken down for a loss. Mike Brazil knifes in and makes about as sure a tackle as you're ever going to see.
Yeah, Brazil does a great job here. He just tries to run right off tackle. And Brazil shoots up there, does a great job wrapping him up. Boy, I twisted up on that word, didn't I?
You're okay.
He did a great job there.
You're okay. Shake it up. Come back, Al.
That's right. That's right. I got wrapped up on that play, didn't I?
3rd down, 8 yards to go. And again to the air, O'Melia, and immediately knifed under by Rob Worth. That's Tony Montz.
Now, this is a big call here. You got 4th down and just maybe a little more, about 5 yards to go. As you see him, just a quick little rollout. Nice catch into the flat.
In real time, Al, it looked almost like he put a little too much air under the ball, but on the replay, that was a good ball.
Yeah, it was a good throw. It was a good throw, but now this is a big, huge play for them.
4th and 5. O'Melia to the air again. Looks at Montz under pressure. Now he's got to go. Fritz misses it. O'Melia gets the first down on a great individual effort off a busted play.
The thing is, too, Brian, Amelia's not known as a fine runner, really. But he made a great play there. He knew he had to get a first down. He had good pressure there from Fritz, but he was able to shake free. Little play action. He's looking downfield. Gets pressure. Now watch Fritz come up there. Now he's been making big plays the whole time. He can't hang on there, but he does a good job. Amelia does a good job cutting back, going for that first down marker.
Wise cuts back and spins on first down to the middle of the field. Brent Lehman had the pressure. Defensive tackle for the Blue Streaks. 6'4", 250 pounds. Now Amelia is 6'3", so he wasn't able to wash over him like a wave over some of those other little guys that we've seen under center in other games down here. Out of the eye this time. Wise is hit immediately and dropped. Matt Clark Johnson.
I'm surprised they're not doing maybe a little more pitch action to try to get him a little more out in the open field that he can use those great speed moves, you know. I mean, they're kind of running them kind of tight to the tackles, but, you know, who am I? I mean, he's averaged, you know, 9.3 yards a carry, 2,000 yards.
Rock Island 2 of 10 on 3rd down this afternoon. Clock running, 1:30 left, 3rd quarter. Did Alonzo Wise get it? Don't think so. But again, you're in 4 down, not only in territory, you're in 4 down situation, down 14 points.
Well, people will say, why would you be in 4 down territory when you're on the 21-yard line? Well, number one, the high school game, there are not a lot of great kickers in high school. So, you know, and you're down by 2 touchdowns to the offense that can hurt you in so many different ways. So for them, they have to go for it.
Mark Marco Zamorano has been called off the field, ordered off. He's hurt. He's on the far sideline being attended to on 4th and 1. Montz for the first down. Was it Wise? No, it was Montz.
You know, one thing I've really noticed in the high school game, if it's 3rd and short, it's very tough for the defenses to stop the offenses. I don't know why that is exactly, but it seems like it's usually a pretty makeable thing. Like, you know, you get close to the goal line, it seems like people usually punch it.
Well, look at how they all play a yard off the ball. Both these teams play a yard off the ball, hoping to penetrate, force, and spread you to the edge.
That's a great observation there. That's probably the big key why they don't make it. I mean, why they do make it, I mean.
Now, Wise doesn't make much there on first down. Not a bad game. But not 9.4 yards a carry either.
Well, he started off like a jet. I mean, he had like 15 yards per carry at one point, but they've been able to slow him down. They've just made some great adjustments there on the defensive end.
Time for one more play, maybe if they hurry. They get it off. Clock to 0-0s. Wise to the 10-yard line. As the third quarter expires, Rock Island is driving. There is a pulse. There is a respiration rate. They're down 2 touchdowns. But remember, we were 14-14 at the half.
My Uncle Jack wears a beeper. Like one of those doctors on TV. Anytime there's a flood or a disaster or something like that, Uncle Jack's the guy who beep. He works for Ameritech. So when people are like hiding in their basements from tornadoes, eating candy bars, he's 100 feet up in the air. Last winter when there was no snow here, they flew into a giant storm in Indiana at 2 in the morning. How cool is that?
Soccer sure has changed since I played. 30-foot rises. Contracting goals. This game is nothing like we could have ever imagined. And it all started with All Sport.
All Sport with a third more carbs than Gatorade. The game will never be the same.
The timing, the tenacity, the teamwork. Women's Big Ten Volleyball is back on Sports Channel. It's the same action-packed game crammed into 2 hours. That means double the digs, double the spikes, in double time. Women's Big Ten Volleyball, exclusively on Sports Channel.
Woodstock's defensive impact player, Matt Hubner, has 11 tackles. Rock Island is knocking on the door. Hubner or somebody from the Streaks thinking we need a big one now. 3rd and 2, 11-yard line as we begin the 4th quarter. And straight ahead is Ashley Harris. 1st and goal.
You know what, Brian, one thing I was wondering why they kept running on the inside, but we have to remember they got the big Brown boys, Jeff and Jason Brown, both over 300 pounds up there pushing, and they may want to wear down that front of Woodstock.
Alonzo Wise has 192 of Rock Island's 221 rushing yards, but this time Ashley Harris finishes it off. And pending the extra point, well, either way, Rock Island, if you figure you can go for 2, Rock Island is back within a touchdown.
Well, they're right back in it again, and that shows you, you know, the emotions ebb and flow so quickly in a high school game, but they come right back. They give it to their star guys. Easy touchdown for Harris.
That is his 6th of the season, and this time The extra point is good. So it is a 7-point game, 21 seconds in. That was a 16 or 17 play drive. 17 plays, 76 yards.
That's a big confidence booster for Rock Island to get a great drive like that. And here you see Ashley Harris just going over the left side. Big, huge hole. That's just easy. I think even I could score on that as old as I am.
That's Al Harris, by the way. I'm Brian Davis. Pete Pranik is on the sidelines, as is Ed Rucker, trying to rally his guys, get them off the carpet a little bit. The Blue Streaks and the Rocks, 13-0. Vic Boblet. Gotta love that. And we mentioned the numbers, and look how much clock they chew.
They chewed a lot of clock back. You said they're not a big scoring team. They're not going to hit you with a lot of things long, but they have that big offensive line. And maybe, just maybe, they might have worn down Woodstock.
Remember, these are 12-minute quarters in high school, guys, so that's more than half the quarter. They got the ball with 7 minutes remaining, 5 minutes gone in the second half, and held it until now.
And a lot of guys play both ways, as we know in high school, so it'll be interesting to see how Woodstock reacts to this.
Comes into the ball, and it's floating toward Casting, but he's going to take it into the end zone, and he is going to accept the touchback.
Well, I think Woodstock fans are breathing a sigh of relief that he didn't return that ball, because he is so dangerous, Casting is.
There's Vic Boblet. I want to go back for a moment to Ed Rucker, because we mentioned earlier the year before he came here, 1993, to Woodstock, they were 0-9. They lost their first 3 in 1994 and finished 3-6. From there to 5-4, then to 10-2. Last year they were eliminated by these same Rock Island Rocks in the quarterfinals. And here's Caston on the cutback. And the funny thing about Ed Rucker is that he was the sophomore coach at Woodstock for 19 years, and he didn't want this job. They had to talk him into it.
He's trying to say, take this job and shove it, huh?
I don't know if he'd quite say that, but you know, I don't know what it was. We talked briefly about it, and I don't know if he didn't feel like he had the fire or whatever, but one of the things that he worked very hard on doing, he tried to get some better athletes. You know, he doesn't have a huge squad, only about 50 guys, but he wanted character guys as well. Guys who've got heart, like that guy Craig Caston right there, who does a little pile diving, but advances the ball only a couple of yards.
Well, he's definitely has some character guys. When you have guys talking about going to Ivy League schools, academies, you know, things like that, you definitely have some character guys on your team. The guys work hard. They're very well coached. As you can see, they just run very well. All the things they do, you know, are fundamental things that will have them win in the future.
Woodstock very efficient, more than efficient. 5 of 8 on third down. They need 3 yards here from their own 27. Batier dumps it off to Fritz. He's going to be taken down for a loss. Jimmy Lee, big guy, responded well as Fritz held up for the ball and took a little extra time turning upfield.
Well, see, you got to get those defensive ends up the field and get the tackles to come around there and make the play on this. Jimmy Lee does a great job of reading the screen. See, you get pressure up the field. You got to get a guy underneath. Lee is right there, makes a great tackle on Fritz.
Did a nice job of shedding his block. And now Batier will punt from his own 12-yard line. Gets a good one away. It's spinning to the near side of the field. Now back to the middle, and what a roll he's going to get.
Great punt.
His long this season was 69 yards. That one goes for 53.
He looked like he got an extra 16, 18 yards off of that punt.
Pete Pranica is downstairs. What up on the injury list, Pete?
Okay, for Woodstock, number 22, Marco Zamorano. He was the player that was pulled off on that 4th down play. Twisted his left knee. His knee does carry a brace. Normally, they had to reposition the brace. They had to retape that left knee. He was hobbling in an awful lot of pain. But you know what? He's out there, Brian and Al, and he is going to give 110% because this is a game he won't forget for the rest of his life.
Absolutely not. Marco Zamorano, the nose tackle. And again, some pile driving at the line of scrimmage.
Now Zamorano, now watch him. He comes back into the game. He holds his ground there pretty well. You know, he makes them stack up.
Hey, let me tell you something about that. Zamorano's 180 pounds. He was trying to fight off a guy who weighs 305.
And look at him. He's playing with that wrap a little bit. He's like, man, this is getting my way. Get that out of here. I'm playing football out here. This is the championship.
You can cut that leg off, and he'd still want to be out there. Oh, look at this stick. Look at Roy Fritz, Phil on Ashley Harris.
He put Ashley Harris on the Fritz with that hit. Now this is the type of lick you like.
Let's listen to that hit. Listen to that clashing pads.
Well, see, he got right underneath him, put his face mask right underneath his chin.
Look at Fritz. This guy's a bundle of energy. And look at him chase. But Wise turns the corner, but he doesn't get upfield because Rob Worth came in and filled. He was going to beat, Wise was going to beat Fritz, but Rob Worth comes up, steps up from the corner, and denies him on 3rd down, so 4th and 3.
Well, you still got plenty of time. I think I'm punting this, definitely.
Oh, James Britton, you've got to.
You got to punt this. It's 4th and 3. You don't want to give them an easy score here.
James Britton and Jason Britton playing up on the line. Puts the ball up, low liner, end over end. It takes a Rock Island bounce, but Caston flags it down. He dances Moorlock. Hill gets an arm on him, and he's taken down. Woodstock takes over at about the 32-yard line.
You know, Casting has great hands. He fielded that once again with one hand.
So 1st down, 7 minutes and change remaining in the 4th quarter. Now you play clock ball. You're up a touchdown. Now this is where Woodstock wants to drive.
Well, see, Woodstock, they need to protect the ball because Rock Island is masters at getting the turnovers. They need to protect the football. There's in their territory. They don't need a turnover at this point.
Now the DI casting the tail of the tandem. He pitches and takes the pitch going right. He's got some room. Steps back inside the defensive back. Jimmy Lee slows him down. What great pursuit by Jimmy Lee. He may well have saved a touchdown along with the nose guard Eldred Nunn after a 22-yard gain that looked like it could have broken completely open.
They just had great blocking there, and you have a great runner like Castling there. I mean, great spin moves there, keeps his feet moving. He just has his vision what impresses me the most. He has great vision. He seems to know where everyone is at all times.
So while Rock Island needs the stop, there's 2 ways you could do it if you're Woodstock. You could grind the clock or you could score and put the Rocks 2 touchdowns back. Misdirection, and here he is stacked up Roy Fritz. I mean, he takes 1 hit at the line, and then he is just hammered down by Terry Rosenthal. Pete Pranica downstairs.
Coach Brucker of Woodstock told me this week, he said, you know what, our team's greatest strength is the fact that it is very close emotionally. To that end, before every playoff game, they have a team breakfast, and it's hosted by one of the players. Now, they couldn't do it this morning, so they had it yesterday at Matt Sobaki's house. He was the host. His parents, Adam Vatir's parents, also were cooking for that breakfast. It has really, really brought this team together, and guys, we may find out pretty soon whether or not it's really the breakfast of champions.
I like it, Pete. I like it a lot. Now, play action. Sniffed out, dumped off. Wow, Moorlock was in the neighborhood. Don't know if it was catchable as he just goes to about his 9th option. Vatir looking for Fritz. Craig Casting, by the way, the quote from him, we get along. We love to play. We don't make excuses.
Great pressure here by Justin Rosler there. He makes Vatir get rid of the ball earlier than he needs to be. So that was great pressure by Justin. He's not going to beat you in the foot race, but you better get out of the way, because if he lands on you, it's going to be over.
Inside 6 minutes, fourth quarter, 3rd down and 11. Split backs. Receiver to the near side is Cobb, and Huebner once again can't hang on to the ball. Through his hands, Morlock was on him.
I think if I was the coach for Woodstock, I'd have Huebner over there throwing the ball to him like 50 times in a row, because he's dropped 3 easy passes today. He needs to get his concentration going. They need him to make those plays.
He's really such an impact player for them defensively. If you weight the two, he plays both ways. It's really on defense that he is of most value. Of course, they've got so many horses offensively. As Batier punts the ball away and angles it to the 10-yard line. Wow, great punt by Batier, down by Castning, 37-yard punt. Rock Island needs 7 to tie in the fourth quarter.
It must be 110 degrees on the field today. That hasn't stopped for a hiccup ball. Here it is. Hot. Here come the visitors for the breakaway. The game is 1-0.
Hey, ¿dónde está Jorge?
Pepsi, Generation Next.
The Country Companies knows that starting a family is no small feat. So the least we could do is start giving you a break with mini rates on most minivans.
When it matters most, the country's behind you.
Whitney Clemente, 1985, and I got a chance to run the ball a la William Refrigerator Perry at the time. I didn't get the touchdown. I had about 11 guys on me at the 1-yard line pushing me back. My coaches, they taught me the most important thing that I learned throughout my football career is determination and desire, and not to give up. Keep going. You have to be prepared.
The IHSA Class 6A Football Championship, next on Sports Channel.
Woodstock with a 7-point lead. Rock Island with 89 yards to go to the house. Coming up next, there's some fans for the Lincoln Way Knights who will play the Blazers of Addison Trail in the 6A title game. Mike Lederman and Jack McInerney next on Sports Channel. Don't you dare touch that dial. Here's Wise. Falls down short of the line of scrimmage.
And who makes the play once again? Roy Fritz. This guy's all over the field.
Looked like he may have lost his balance as well. Alonzo Wise, he makes those good cuts, but a couple of times today it looks as if he's lost the edge a little bit as he turns the corner. Loss of 2. 2nd and 12 for the Rocks at the 9-yard line. O'Melia, 3 men in the backfield. Mons in motion. And again, the handoff to the fullback Harris, and there is just nothing there for him. Couple of yards, that's it. 3rd and 10.
They're turning it on up on the field.
And guess who?
Zamora.
Marco Zamorano. There's a shot. Who is that? Can't see the numbers. Is that Brazil? Now O'Melia back to pass. He floats it long and out of bounds. 3rd and 11. And goodness gracious, Al Harris, what do you do here? You're down 7 points with 4.5 minutes left, and you're looking at 4th and 11. You do have to punt. You're exactly right.
I mean, Woodstock rose to the occasion on that. You have to punt if you're Rock Island. You still have time. That's not what you wanted, though. But see, the great punt that they had really pinned them deep down there. They could only do so many things offensively.
Mentioned earlier that last year, Rock Island knocked Woodstock out. This is not a revenge game. It's interesting, though. Woodstock has an opportunity to punt Brick from the end zone. Good line drive, overworked head. He flags it down, and he's going to try to do something. Well, the ball comes out. The ball comes out, and Wise recovers. Wise is dragged down by Dave Davis, but what a turn of events for Rock Island.
This is the big play that Rock Island really needed. They needed that, and both big plays were made in the punting game. Worth, you see the ball goes over his head. He feels he has time to field the ball. He does, but he's stripped immediately there. And guess who picks it up? Alonzo Wise.
1st and 10 at the Woodstock 24-yard line. 4:15 remaining.
That was an outstanding play. You know who stripped him? Jason Morlock, their big play specialist.
Out of the eye now. Mont's in motion, handoff to Wise. They're going to ride that pony if they can. But again, Woodstock has reacted well in the latter stages of this game. They're just not letting him get off.
You know, if I was them, I think if I was Rock Island, I'd try to run a screen because Woodstock is coming so hard, so fast across the line. I would try to run a screen to Wise, try to get him out there in open field. If you have him run inside, you're actually playing to the strength of I think, Woodstock.
Wise and Mons on the edges. Wise in motion. The handoff to Mons. He's got some room. He's strung out, though, as Matt Hubner.
You caught it. You said that his strength is defense, and I think, you know, he realizes that he's missed some big opportunities on the offensive end. He's come back defensively and made some fine plays.
It looked like Mons had a ton of room, and Hubner shed his block and stepped over to that end and strung him out for no gain.
Just great wrap up there. I mean, he couldn't do anything about that. He was just nailed.
In fact, that was a tackle for loss. Great design, better execution defensively. 3 minutes remaining, 4th quarter. Clock is running. Here's why. Breaks through, breaks one tackle. Oh! Down toward the goal line. Not quite, but 2nd and 3rd effort. I think its name is Alonzo Wise.
Wow, what a run. I mean, he looked like he was going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage, and he just powered his way through. You think of him just being a great speed back, not only speed, but deceptive power. Hits right in there, looks like he's going to be stopped. 2 of their best tacklers are Fritz, one of them. He almost shakes through, Worth makes a shoestring tackle, otherwise it's a touchdown.
23-yard gain. Harris scores.
Look, both teams now have had, you know, special team plays that have cost the other team a touchdown, and it seems like it's evened up here. Harris just going right over the middle, just powering his way behind that big, huge offensive line of Jeff Brown, 6'1", 305 pounds, number 51. Jason Brown.
The all-out effort and a block by Hubner fails. We are tied with 2:39 remaining in the 4th quarter.
What a game. What a game.
Ashley Harris, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. Alonzo Wise has scored twice. Alonzo Wise, playing special teams, has done a little CPR on his own ball club.
That's amazing. You have your top star playing on the punt coverage team, but I think there's a reason for that, because when you have Casting on the, you know, returning for the Blue Streaks, he's going to break some, so you definitely want to get your best athletes out there.
Greg Casting is a breakaway guy, and he does do those kind of things. We saw him earlier, a 54-yard kickoff return. His interception returns, you know, of 50 and 60 and 70 and 80-plus yards.
Well, if I'm Rock Island right now, I'm definitely not kicking to him. I'm going to kick a squib, and I'll take my chances with someone else. I will not kick to that guy. He has just too much great vision, quick feet, determination. Unless I'm sure my kicker can boot it out of the end zone like he did last time. But I'm definitely trying. If I'm going to kick it hard, I'm kicking away from him. I'll put it in Prince's hands and take my chances. Even though Prince has hurt him, but I think I'll take my chances with him.
Turnovers today have been huge for both sides. And Tubbs kicks away and over Craig Castning's head. It's a moot point. It's a touchback.
You know what was interesting on that play? They had their guys up on the line of scrimmage like they were thinking it would be an onside kick. That was an interesting call there by Woodstock, because they had their guys up there like it was going to be an onside kick. I don't know if I would have done that if I was Rock Island.
Pete Pranica is downstairs talking close games in the Blue Streaks. Pete?
Well, the Blue Streaks haven't had very many, Brian. Their closest game, a 41-33 win over McHenry back on September the 5th. Otherwise, they've been blowing people out 47-8, 49-21, 38-0. This is uncharted waters for them, Brian.
Castning to the left side, turns the corner. Gets past Tyler Carroll and is forced out by J.J. Tubbs. You mentioned that victory over McHenry. That was really sort of a signature for Woodstock. That was their key building block for this undefeated season. They beat McHenry. McHenry had been 8-0, had dominated the Fox Valley last year, took a 14-0 lead on Woodstock in this game, week 2.
Now watch this play here. Nice cutback there by Casey. He just turns on the speed around that corner. Who's going to catch him?
They won that McHenry game, by the way, 41-33. Castning again. Gets some room. Look out. Castning with the extra gear. Shivers rides him out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
Looks like Castning said, here, fellas, just jump on my back. I'll bring the title home for you.
35 yards.
We're watching two of the best running backs in the States go head up. Nice little counter move, big hole, cuts back to us. He loves running to his left. The one thing that Rock Island's kind of short of, they don't have a lot of team speed outside.
At the half, we talked about Craig Castning out of a sense that maybe there was more in the tank that this guy could deliver. Wasn't trying to down him in any way, but he had more in the tank, and we've seen it. Split backfield, Castning again, straight up the gut, cuts to the left side, first down, and an ankle tackle saves the touchdown. Jeff Tubbs got a hold of him, but the Blue Streaks are in the red zone, 17 yards.
Now, this is just a great play, great deal of running there. Now, he continues to his left, but he has those feet moving very strong. He's very quick. He loves running to his left when he hits through that hole. But now, Brian, we have time as a factor. 2 minutes and 14 seconds left. Now, if you're Woodstock, you want to run as much clock off as possible before, to give them a lot less chance to score. But at the same time, you still want to score. If you're Rock Island, you're going to have to maybe start calling some timeouts, and that's going to hurt you if you have to get the ball back.
And that's what they've done here. Timeout Rocks, 2:14 remaining. Craig Castning, 185 yards. We have seen, as you say, two of the best there are going head up, and it is made for a great, great football game.
And you know the amazing thing about this? A lot of his runs have been right up in between those big guys, Nunn, Rossler, and Jimmy Lee. I mean, those guys average probably about 270 pounds. You're talking about Rossler 350, Nunn going 252, Jimmy Lee 252. They're just running right up the middle, right actually at their, I would think their strength of their defense would be, at least from a size standpoint.
He is 1 yard away, Castning is, from a title game rushing record. Philip Adler of Wheaton Warrenville South, 24 carries, 186 yards in 1992. Tie ball game. Nose of the football on the 20, 1st and 10 Woodstock. Pashman steps right, gets 5, and falls for a couple more. He is gang tackled by Moorlock, by Eldred Nunn, Tyler Carroll filling.
This is nothing but want to right now. You know, right now, Kessling is just saying, give me the ball, fellas, and let's win this thing. They have so many different ways they can strike at you, though, Brian, because, I mean, they can do it out in the flat. You know, they can do so many different ways.
I go back to that quote. We get along. We love to play. We don't make excuses. Backfield split. Cobb on the flank far side to Fritz, right edge. Takes a look, slips one tackle, but he is driven out of bounds, strung out along the line of scrimmage. If you're looking for a textbook example of Rock Island's defense, that's it. Play a yard off the ball and then go to string the guy out east to west.
Now, this is exactly what you're talking about, Brian. You want to string him out here, have him running laterally. Now, he switches hands. He almost loses the ball, but he does a good job of recovery.
Get out of the way, Al.
That's what you want to do.
Get out of the way. He was coming at you.
Now, here we go. We had a big 3rd down play here. A big key here. 1 minute and 3 seconds left. You know, if you don't make it, do you kick a field goal or do you go for it?
Timeout Woodstock. Pete Pranica, what about those field goals?
Well, Adam Batir is the place kicker. He attempted only 1 field goal. He did not make it. So this Blue Streak team has not been able to connect from 3-point land. So you're almost looking at 4-down territory unless Batir says, hey, coach, I know I can make it.
Wow.
Now, Ed Brucker is out with his guys. Here's the thing. They spot the ball at the 3 for the extra points. We know he could do it there. But on the other hand, let's consider the fact that placement of the football is dead center on points after. You know, on down and distance on a field goal, you're playing from a hash right or left.
Exactly, and plus you don't want a guy who hasn't kicked a field goal all year to have that much riding on his leg. And it could get blocked even if he kicks at a low, you know, a low line drive. So I would imagine this definitely would be 4-down territory for him.
3rd and 3. Cobb split near side. Split backfield and the handoff to Fritz. Same play he scored on before. Touchdown! Roy Fritz scores again. Fritz has scored 3 touchdowns today, all on the same play, none bigger, as Woodstock takes the lead with 57 seconds remaining. 34-28. Batir's extra point makes it 35-28. Rock Island's got to move in a hurry.
They scored on that play earlier, what they ran, just that counter OT with Fritz hitting around the end, big, powerful running back. Now, they've been doing this to him basically all day. They're pulling their, see, the guys coming around the end. He hits back on the inside. The tackle should have been made there, but you got a strong running back who's very determined. You know, Woodstock made up their mind to come in a hurry.
His emotion. Roy Fritz, I've been noticing him all day long. The guy is just a ball of energy, a ball of desire, a ball of emotion.
Look at that. 5 rushing touchdowns. Tie a record. I tell you what, that is outstanding. And they're doing it against a fine team.
Now, Rock Island, remember, they have busted off some big chunks of yardage. So we're under a minute remaining. But they still have a certain guy by the name of Alonzo Wise.
I think he's going to be wearing about 11 white shirts on this next drive. I think they're going to look at him the whole time. But you know what? They got 2 timeouts left right now, 57 seconds. They don't have a good passing game. This is what we talked about early in pregame. So
What do you do if you're sunburned? Do you squib it or do you kick away to make them come from farther? Or do you squib it so that you know Wise won't get the football?
I'd squib it and take my chances. I'm not going to let Wise beat me on one play.
Thank you, Coach. That's Tyler Carroll. Now back to Wise. Here he goes.
Oh, look out.
Alonzo Wise spins, breaks one tackle, breaks another, can't break the last. Dave Davis makes maybe the biggest special teams play of the year for Woodstock.
Do we have an unbelievable game or what? Well, they had an answer for me. Said, okay, squib it, we'll lateral it. We'll get it to him somehow. And he hits with a full head of steam. I thought he was going to shake by the last man there. He does a great job of coming up, making the play.
39 yards. First and 10, Rock Island. Woodstock 37. Harris spins, fights his way, and is finally driven back by Roy Fritz.
Now we have to pay attention to time. 36 seconds and counting. They have 2 timeouts. They need to start looking at their timeouts and need to get up in the line of scrimmage if they're not going to do it right away.
Chris Hartwig also on the tackle in the Rocks call time with 30 seconds left.
Now, you know what? This is smart heads-up play. They know they're going to squib it. They know they're not going to get in his hands, but they haven't planned, and it was just a great pitch there by Carroll. And there he is, one-on-one. That's a scary situation to be in. Does great spin moves there.
Craig Casting spun Wise and allowed Dave Davis, whom Wise had already beat, to catch up to the play.
That's all part of being the team. I mean, that might be the biggest play in the game. I mean, it's 30 seconds left, 1 timeout with a team that's not used to throwing the football.
5'6" Dave Davis is, 155 pounds. He's probably, well, he just there played like he's 7 foot tall.
Gigantic play for them so far. Now let's see if Rock Island can answer.
2nd and 4. Wise in motion, takes the pitch. Out to the sideline.
Well, the one nice thing about going to the sideline, they stop the clock.
He needed to get to the 20, between the 28 and 27 yard line, and he only gained the 30, so just a yard on the play. And it's 3rd down. Driven out at the 20-yard line.
Wow, that worked out perfect for Rock Island. Not only does Mons run up inside, he's smart enough to bounce to the outside and run out of bounds with a guy hanging on him.
1st and 10 at the 20. 21 seconds remaining.
Now, see, watch him. He has that awareness to get out of bounds. He knows, get as much as he can, stop that clock, save the timeout.
Dave Davis made the tackle again, by the way. Now Wise through the middle. Down he goes.
Now they got to either get up quick or call timeout.
They've done that.
Now, if you're the coach, you got to be thinking, let's see, it's 2nd down. So you run this play. You got 15 seconds left. It'll be 3rd down, so it's going to be very tough. You may have to look to go in the air. It's going to be very risky to put it on the ground because you could eat up all the rest of your clock. So now you're going possibly to a quarterback who's not used to throwing the football. 15 seconds left. I don't know if I'd go to the ground because you might not get enough time to line back up and run another play. Unless you're so confident you can pop it.
Anybody at home with heart trouble, hope you got the shock paddles next to your armchair.
What a great game.
The faint of heart might have done well to have tuned out. But I dare you to do that now. 2nd and 3. Rock Island out of timeouts. 15 seconds left. O'Melia to the air. He looks for Wise, corner of the end zone, out of bounds.
Okay, that's what you need to do. You got 9 seconds left. That's what you need to do. You need to go to the end zone. That's the only chance you got. You got to get it in the end zone. So it's going to rest on him now.
Understand that in high school football, there is no uncatchable ball factor if there's contact. Pass interference is pass interference. And it is a first down and a 15-yard or half the distance spot
that's
from the line of
great
scrimmage.
observation. It can't end on a defensive penalty either.
O'Melia again looking for Lillis. It's intercepted. Craig Cashning is going to put the exclamation point on a state championship for Woodstock.
Who else should make the play?
On the interception return, and it is in a moment symbolic of the road the Blue Streaks have traveled. 4 years ago, this team was nowhere. 4 years ago, Woodstock High School was 0-9. This afternoon at Hancock Stadium in Normal, Illinois, Woodstock is 14-0, and the Blue Streaks are the state 5A champions.
I tell you what, that is something that every guy dreams about. Last play of the game, it can decide the championship for you. I mean, you dream of that sort of moment. And who else for Cashning to make that play? Who else? I mean, you know what I'm saying? This guy has really carried Woodstock on his shoulders, and he makes a gigantic play like that. The other thing we talked about was at the beginning of the game, we said, now if the ball game has to end up in the quarterback's hand for Rock Island, they're going to have problems because he throws for less than 50%, and we saw that on that last play.
Vic Boblet is talking to his team at the 35-yard line. There are any number of analogies that you could use to describe the swiftness with which his season has just ended.
Well, I tell you what, they have nothing to be ashamed of. Rock Island doesn't. I mean, this was just a great game by two evenly matched ball clubs who gave everything they had.
Look at them raise the helmets. Look at that pride.
A lot of tears also. You feel bad for Amelia. You know he was trying to give everything he had. And, you know, that just happens. When you're not used to throwing the football, these things can happen to you. You see, he rolls out. He's trying to go towards the end zone. Oh, the ball was tipped, actually, at the line of scrimmage. The ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. And we don't know if it was Hubner, 88, because he suddenly appears in the screen. We couldn't see exactly.
The intended receiver was John Lillis, the possession guy, and your final score should actually read, what, 41-28. Oh, he was out of bounds. It was not a touchdown. He was knocked out of bounds. So your final score should read just as you see it, 35-28.
Now, you know, now watch this from the end zone. He rolls out to his right. It is tipped by Mike Brazel. Mike Brazel makes the game-saving play, actually, because maybe that throw is in there if it's not tipped by him. So, see, that's something that people don't see.
And they're right there, out of bounds, exactly right.
So Mike Brazel, unsung hero, makes a great play.
So Woodstock in a thriller, unbelievable. I think we're all numb up here.
What you doing? Just dropping Mom some hints to call Uncle Bob at the Ameritech gift hotline so we get what we want this year.
Cordless phones that let you talk for blocks. Pagers so you're always reachable. You'll find great gifts at the Ameritech gift hotline. Call 1-800-709-LINK to order and enter our sweepstakes where you could win your dream home.
What are you doing?
Just making sure I get that cool new phone.
Very subtle.
Up next on Cable 7, it's Fanning Old Flames Week.
Wow.
What?
You're still nuts.
On Mad About You. The laughs continue at 9:30 with Roseanne.
These three kids so naughty, you want to mobilize the bum.
Yeah, bosom face.
Certainly, on Roseanne.
Then the good news is The Simpsons at 10. Learn from the master of mischief.
You do know what happens when you mix acids and bases, right?
Of course I do.
On The Simpsons. Catch the laughs up next on Fox 18. Get over 25% off the original list price on a special purchase of pre-owned 97 Blazers. Just one of the great buys during Super Truck Week at Mill Chevrolet Geo. Save thousands with 2.9 financing up to 48 months, 3.9 up to 60 months on most new trucks, vans, and sport utilities, or up to $2,500 cash back on select models. Every new and used truck, van, and sport utility clearly marked with a super sale price. Super Truck Week through December 1st only at Mill Chevrolet Geo across from the South Park Mall building.
There's Alonzo Wise, head down, but this young man has an awful lot to be proud of as he accepts his second-place medal in the Rocks of Rock Island. The captains accept the trophy for second place in Class 5A.
Yeah, it's nice. The Woodstock players clapping for Rock Island there. It shows you the sportsmanship, which they've talked about having here. And that's just great to see two great teams just going after each other.
I think in time this will look better than it certainly feels now. In time, these guys will look back, and I'm not just blowing smoke here. This is the kind of thing that you'll sit around at the coffee shop 10 years down the road and you'll say, you guys remember that game we played against Woodstock in the championship?
Wait till these guys get to be grandpas. This game will go triple overtime when it'll be 65 to 64, and the score will change who won and who lost.
You've kind of tasted some of this yourself, haven't you?
Yeah, we did. When I was a senior in high school, we lost the championship in Hawaii by 1 point, and it went down to, you know, a last-second type of deal. So there's a lot of emotions in these sort of things. Granted, that was thousands of miles away from here.
As they line it up, we notice off camera Alonzo Wise and Vic Boblet coming near side. But once again, in 2A, yesterday we had 16 records tied or set. Today in the 5A game, 4 records tied. There's Roy Fritz.
And now this year's state.
Boy, did he have an awesome game.
Team trophy will be presented to the Blue Streaks of Woodstock.
There's Adam Vatier. There's a lot of happy Blue Streak fans, and Craig Kastnick hoists the hardware.
You know, these guys did not have a cakewalk through here. I mean, they played the best teams that could be shown to them, and they took everyone on and played them to the max.
Congratulations to the Blue Streaks.
A well-deserved championship.
Well, let's take a look at the play that iced the game. It was indeed the Pepsi play of the game.
Well, just a simple roll out there. Mike Brazil gets his hand up and tips it. See the ball wobbling there? See, that's all the difference in the play. Maybe that's a touchdown. Who knows?
Well, as Ashley Harris really saved it by knocking Kastnick out of bounds. An unbelievable finish to an unbelievable day. Hey, the 6A game is coming up too on Sports Channel.
The IHSA Football Championship is brought to you by Pepsi, Generation Next, Country Companies Insurance. When it matters most, the country's behind you. and by your local Lincoln Mercury dealer.
It's time to save big on 97 Mercury Sable. Right now, get 1.9% APR for a total savings of up to $42.12 on the 97 Mercury Sable LS. With a powerful V6 and loads of convenient features, like a split fold seat and a flip fold center console. Inventory is limited, so get to your Mercury dealer for big savings on Sable of 1.9% APR for up to $42.12 in total savings. See your Mercury dealer before the 97 Sables disappear. Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
My love must be a kind of blind love. I can't see anyone but you. I only have
Norman Feeney, Pepsi drinker for life. Pepsi, Generation Next.
the things that you hold close. We do too. Sharing your dreams and seeing you through the bright tomorrows, human sorrows. It's nice to know when it matters most. The country's behind you.
Jeff Hackett and the Hawks will have to make defense a top priority against budding superstar Alexei Yashin and the playoff-tested Ottawa Senators. Tonight at 6 on Sports Channel Plus.
Woodstock wins it by a touchdown, and what an afternoon in the 5A championship game. Welcome back to Hancock Stadium in Normal. Brian Davis and Al Harris and our Minister of On-Field Information, Pete Pranica.
Thanks for that wonderful intro, Brian. Ed Brucker, winning coach. Have you started to breathe again after that fourth quarter?
Not hardly. I mean, that was one of the most exciting fourth quarters I've ever been involved in. Seems like we'd get the lead and look like we were going to have the game wrapped up, and we make a mistake or they'd run back a kick, and it was just a great high school football game.
It seems that your kids kept their poise throughout, and I know that both Brian and I had a chance to talk to you this week, and you talked about your kids liking each other and liking to play together. How much did that mean in the fourth?
I think it meant a lot, though. They were out there in the huddle, and they said, we got to pull together, and we got to tackle, and it meant a lot to them. They just wouldn't quit. They just wouldn't quit. They were tired at the end.
When you took this job in 1994, you go 3-6. Did you ever dream about a state championship?
Not at that time. I knew we had some good freshmen, but the dream of that would have been stupid, I think. We were hoping we could, but this is just a dream come true.
Congratulations and enjoy.
Thank you.
Coach Ed Brucker from Woodstock, overcome really by the moment. A tremendous football game, guys. You couldn't ask for much more. A team coming back very, very close, showing what they're made of in the fourth quarter. They win it by a touchdown to win the 5A state title. Guys?
Pete, thanks very much. And Al, when you consider that Ed Brucker didn't want the job, I'm gonna throw something at you that it was actually uttered by his counterpart, Vic Boblett, talking about adverse situations, talking about how champions find the way to win. We had two really huge-hearted groups of football players on the field this afternoon, and in the end, it was the true champions, really arguably the rightful champions that found the way to win.
Well, I mean, like you were saying, there really were two champions in this game today. I mean, ultimately, Woodstock won it, but Rock Island was a champion in its own right. It didn't quit when they got behind. They kept coming back.
How classic was it? Special teams and great defense. In the end, turnovers really decide this football game.
Yes, they sure did. You know, if you remember, Morlock makes a great play, stripping the returner of the ball, you know, but they have a great stop there, and it keeps them out of the end zone.
I think we burned up the videotape machines in the truck with the number of highlights in this game. I'm going to tell you what, this one, I don't care how you cut it. I don't know what class you talk about, whether it's 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, or the 6A game to follow. I don't know that you'll ever be able to go back to the history books and find a much more entertaining one than we had here in 5A.
I don't know how you can. I mean, this had plays from start to finish by two great teams with two great running backs.
Well, coming up here on Sports Channel, it will be the 6A championship. And again, you talk about a dogfight, you talk about a slugfest, you talk about Addison Trail, and you talk about Lincoln Way. But just a moment longer here, Al, on the 5A game. In the end, I think that probably both coaches accomplished much of what they want. And in the end, I think you give Rock Island a great deal of credit for falling behind 2 touchdowns. Remember, this team gained 93% of its yardage fans on the ground, but this team came back from 14 points down in the second half.
Yeah, they did. And that was the one thing we talked about earlier in the game. We didn't know if they could do that, but they got a couple big plays, especially off that punt. That was a great, great play.
Al, it's been great working. Congratulations. Great working with you. Congratulations to the guys in the truck. Everybody here on the crew has done a heck of a job with Pete Pranica. I'm Brian Davis. Time for us to back on out of here and hand it off to the guys who will bring you the 6A game. Here are Mike Lederman and Jack McInerney.
All right, thank you, Brian. And Al, good job. I think for the 6A game, Jack, maybe we should just rerun this last tape, huh?
Incredible game, but I think we've got a real good one coming up, Mike.
Addison Trail and Lincoln Way, this is the one all Chicago has been pointing to since the football season started. Well, at least till now.
We'll have team coverage. Tonight as the champs were welcomed home. That's tonight's top story as we begin our team coverage with News Channel 8 photographer Howard Grace waiting for them as a caravan turned off the interstate. The Rocks returned home from the state football championship game in a motorcade that received a police escort as it turned off the interstate at Milan. The Rocks were being honored, and justly so, for a season that was capped off by winning a berth in the state Class 5A championship finals. The caravan returned to Rocky High's Fieldhouse, where an annual holiday basketball tournament was in progress, and where things came to a standstill as the fans greeted their team with a standing ovation and welcomed home the team and the second-place trophy they brought with them. The welcome home continues tomorrow with a rally at the Fieldhouse at 1 o'clock. It was quite a championship game at Normal, where the Rocks and Woodstock put on quite a show. Dan Burrich joins me now with the details. Dan?
Yeah, the Rocks, as you know, were attempting, Jim, to become the first Quad Cities Illinois State football champion. Yeah, all due respect to Geneseo, Rockridge, Sterling, Newman, and the other area schools, the Quad or Quint Cities needed one of their own, and the Quads had it in good hands. Or should we say good legs off the start. Alonzo Wise and those legs, those record-setting legs. 53 yards down the right sidelines, had a 7-0 Rocky lead early. But Woodstock has a pretty potent ground game themselves. Roy Fritz here scored 3 touchdowns on the day, 19 on the year, tied it up 7-7. He was churning away. Now, Adam Fratelli, the big quarterback, threw for 2,000 yards. They were worried about him. Not. J.J. Tubbs with a pick. He's had a great year all around for the Rocks as well. Rocky was in this one, but it was Craig Castling, the other 1-2 punch with Fritz, who barreled in, and it was his 20th touchdown of the year. That's on fire. 28-14 halftime lead, but, you know, Rocky would battle back. Second half, Ashley Harris, touchdown 5 yards out. He had 2 on the day, 8 on the year, 28-21. Then on a punt play that the Rocks got off, another big miscue for Woodstock. Rocks turnover ratio unbelievable this year. Wise, Johnny on the spot as he's been all season long. He set up this score here, battling down to the 1. Watch Alonzo, got it down to the 1. Another Harris touchdown, made it 28 all. Over 2,000 yards, 30 touchdowns in the year. Just a great year for Wise, but Woodstock bounced back. Another touchdown for Fritz. That would turn out to be the game winner, as Tyler Carroll will pitch it back to Wise and try to get him near the goal line for a final play. Jim O'Meara will heave one out. Wise almost broke that one from 13-yard line with 9 seconds left. It'll be picked off, so Rocky ends the season 13-1, runner-up, and we'll have more. We'll hear from Wise, O'Meara, Vic Boblet, and all the other Rocks when we come back later on in the show.
It was quite a game. They never gave up, did they?
Unbelievable season.
It sure has been. Thank you, Dan. All through with a look at the Rock Island standout.
Jim, if you ask the teams who have played against Alonzo Wise, they will tell you that he is unstoppable. And if you ask Alonzo's foster parents, they'll agree.
The road to Hancock Stadium has been long and hard for the Rock Island Rocks, especially for one in particular.
Alonzo I first met would have never put a uniform on. He would have never been a team player.
Come on, Alonzo, come on.
That was 3.5 years ago when Alonzo came to live with his foster parents, Todd and Sabrina Dusenberry. Today, the Dusenberrys cheered just as hard and loud as any other parents in the crowd.
I'm as proud as a dad can be.
I am his real mom. I am. In my heart, he is mine.
Their son is playing in the biggest game of his life.
This is the Super Bowl.
taking what he's learned from life and making it work for him on the field.
I always ask him, why do you always have to do everything the hard way? And he says, I don't know any other way, and that's how I come out on top.
But life and football have their ups and downs. And although Alonzo is used to beating the odds, it doesn't happen on this day. But for a young man who's come so far, it will surely be one of the few times Alonzo Wise will ever have to settle for being number 2.
And Alonzo's success is not just on the football field. His mom said that he views school a lot like a football game, and that a touchdown is just like an A, and it must be working because he is an honor roll student. Back to you, Jim.
He's quite a youngster, isn't he?
He sure is.
And parents should be very, very proud of him. Thank you. Mother Nature took up.
It's great. I love it. It's just so exciting for the Rocks.
It wasn't to be. The Rocks accomplished quite a bit this season, making it to state. By the sounds of their fans, the Rock Island spirit wasn't defeated. The reaction from friends, family, and alums didn't reflect the outcome of the game today. Coming in second in the state is still a big accomplishment, and we are very proud of them, aren't we, Dan Pearson?
You know what? We feel the same way about it. Class act. Just so happy for Coach Bobbitt and those guys, and just a pleasure to cover them all year long.
Had a great season.
Yes, they did. We're going to talk about the game right now. Suddenly, the season is all over, and the Rock Island Rocks have time to think about the school's best football campaign ever. I'm sure it's hard for these young men not to think about falling just short in today's bid for the state title. But a standard is set for Rock Island football. They are a state power. Against Woodstock today, Rockies' Alonzo Wise goes out with a bang to the tune of 210 yards rushing, a record in the 5A title game. He scores both of his TDs in the first half, including that 53-yard thing of beauty. And is Art Craig Hofer all over that, or what? Yes, he is. The Rocks trail 21-14 at the half. The Blue Streaks extend the lead to 14 in the third quarter when Craig Castning stings the Rocks for 34 of his 196 yards on the day. 28-14. It sets up an incredible fourth quarter. On 4th and 5, Rockies' Jimmy O'Melia delivers, scrambling free, and he gets the first down. Ashley Harris later scores from short yardage, just 28-21. 4:30 to go. Rocky punting from its own end zone. Jason Britton's boot rolls past the Woodstock returner. Bad choice. He picks it up, and it's a fumble. Wise is there to grab it, and he will get it down to the 24. On 3rd and 10, Wise comes up big. He drags a bunch of Blue Streaks 23 yards all the way down to the 1-yard line. What a player he is. And it's Harris finishing from there for his second touchdown of the day. It's tied at 28, but incredibly, Woodstock goes 80 yards on 6 plays to regain the lead with a minute to play. And incredibly, on the ensuing kickoff, another big Rock Island play. Tyler Carroll laterals the ball to Wise. That's a good choice. Alonzo makes a wonderful return all the way to the Blue Streak 37-yard line. Now 9 seconds left. Rocks on the Woodstock 18. But Castning shows he can play D, coming up with the pick to end the game. He stepped out of bounds on his way back. It is over, though. The Rocks fall just short, 35-28. But despite the heartbreaking result, Rocky again digs deep down in the character department.
We're champions, men. We're champions through and through. Don't you ever forget it. On this day, we came up a little bit short. But by God, that heart was there every down.
All year long, people has been doubting us, you know. All the non-believers, you know, they've been doubting us, saying we couldn't get this far. You know, we got this far, you know. I'm full of pride, and I'm pretty sure all the seniors is too. We tried to come out and do what we had to do, and I think we played pretty well. We gave them a good run for their money, and unfortunately just couldn't get it all.
He said he'd never been prouder of us. You know, we feel that as a team. We just went out and gave 100%. We came up a little short, but, you know, that's all right. We got runner-up.
Their offense really came to life when it had to. I mean, they responded like champions. That's why they're the state champion. But I got to say, our kids responded the same way. Every time they answered, we answered right back.
Yes, they did. The Rocks will be honored tomorrow at 1 p.m. at the Rocky Fieldhouse. Now on the college gridirons, it's on.
A great ball club, unbeaten also coming in, comes right back to get a 54-yard kickoff return by Craig Castning, and it doesn't take him long to score. It's a 9-yard touchdown run up the middle by Roy Fritz, and still with 5:03 left in the first quarter, it's tied at 7. Then one of the big plays in the game, a fumbled punt by Rock Island's James Britton, couldn't hold on to the snap. Woodstock recovered on the Rocks 10. It took them just one play. It was Fritz again from 9 yards out with 3:33 left in the quarter. Rock Island trailed 14-7. However, the Rocks intercepted a pass, and Alonzo on just one play goes 42 yards, almost the same play as earlier around the right side. It ties the game with 1:15 left in the first quarter, 14-all, and what a first quarter it was. Woodstock scored in the second period, the only score of the quarter, to lead 21-14 at halftime. Then they added another touchdown in the third quarter, Castaning going 34 yards, and they had a 28-14 lead after 3 periods. But did the Rocks give up? No siree. They put together a 76-yard drive. Ashley Harris taking it in from 5 yards out. It was 28-21. The Rocks down by 7. Things were looking bad, but then there was a fumbled punt by Woodstock. Alonzo Wise picks it up with 4 minutes to play in the football game, and this is what he said about that punt he picked up.
I seen the ball come out, and I just wanted to concentrate on picking the ball up instead of, you know, trying to hurry up and rush. And my main objective at that time was just to grab the ball and pick it up. I tried to score, you know, I came close, but I didn't get it.
Then with 2:39 left in the quarter, Rocks scored on a 1-yard touchdown run by Ashley Harris. We were all tied at 28, but Woodstock, showing what they were made of, came back to score. Fritz going 13 yards for the touchdown with just 57 seconds left. They led at 35-28. Even the most loyal Rock Island fans thought it's all over, but not the Rocks. On the kickoff return, Vic Boblett says they were set to return one for a touchdown.
I said, guys, just listen for a second. I said, listen to, you hear that crowd, you hear Woodstock, you hear how excited that is? They score with 57 seconds to go. I said, guess how exciting it's going to get if we return this thing. We knew they wouldn't kick to Alonzo, so we made arrangements for the ball to get pitched to him, and, well, we just come within an eyelash of breaking that thing.
So the Rocks came close. They got all the way down to the 11-yard line before an interception finally ended this football game. What a game it was, and this was the reaction of some of the Rocky players afterwards.
Feeling with a lot of pride, you know, right now. I mean, I'm hurt, but at the same time, I'm proud. I'm proud of the seniors, you know, the job they've done. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of the whole Rock Island program, you know.
Well, I'm just real proud of myself and the team. And, you know, second place is just as good as first because we know we number one always.
Those out of there with our heads high.
This young man.
Open. I said, I got to get in. I got to get in, and I did it.
But Rocky could only watch as Woodstock's ground game took control, giving them a 21-14 advantage.
By halftime, it became very clear that this wasn't going to be a defensive game. In fact, it started to resemble last year's shootout between these two teams in the quarterfinals when Rocky won 44-36.
Trailing 28-21 in the fourth quarter, Rocky got the break they needed. But after Ashley Harris scored to tie it at 28, Woodstock regained the lead on this 13-yard run by Roy Fritz.
Coach likes to call us a passing team, but when it really gets down to us, I think we run the ball better than a lot of teams.
Even after they scored with 57 seconds to go, I told the kickoff return team, I said, guys, you hear that Woodstock crowd over there? I said, you understand how exciting that is? Guess how wild this place is going to go when we return that kickoff for a touchdown. And we come within an eyelash of doing it.
Following Wise's kick return, Rocks quarterback Jim O'Melia made an unfortunate mistake.
I was thinking out the whole time, but I just didn't get my footing right, and I didn't get everything on it, and threw a bad ball, and I guess that happens sometimes.
I thought I played the most, or coached the most exciting game ever played down here in 1990. Nope. Never say die. Never quit. You're champions, man.
Jim Fuchuk, News Channel 8 Sports.
Busy sports day all the way. Illinois 5A title game. The Rocky faithful on hand. Of course, to congratulate the Rocks for their fine 13-1 season. But the players also want to thank the fans, how much they've meant.
It was great. You know, it's been like this all year long. You know, they came to almost every game. We had about 2,000 deep every game, 5,000 at the most. And, you know, the great thing about it was they came out when it was cold, when it was snow on the ground, when it was wet. And, you know, that just goes to show, you know, without supportive fans, you can't do it by yourself. And without them guys, you know, we wouldn't have made it this far.
And needless to say, they'll be shouting for some time to come, as the 1997 Rock Island football team will be remembered for quite some time. The Rocks of Coach Vic Boblett received a rousing welcome home this afternoon at Rocky Fieldhouse. Fresh from their historic second-place finish in the Illinois 5A State Football Championship, the tears from Saturday's thrilling and heartbreaking 35-28 loss to Woodstock had dried and were replaced by cheers for the Rocks' best-ever 13-1 season. This squad left a lofty mark that future teams, of course, will always, well, they'll always be measured by.
just goes to show how good we are with our pride and with our chemistry amongst ourselves.
It feels tremendous. I will say that I'm very appreciative of it, and I'm very humbled by it. But I've also been in coaching long enough to understand that coaches get far too much credit when teams win, and they also get far too much blame when teams lose. And so you have to kind of take it on an even keel and just be very appreciative of it and be very humbled by it.
Well, now crank up those VCRs, Rocky fans. We'll have a musical tribute to this great state squad at the end of this newscast. Well, both of our
outstanding group effort, but there's one individual who deserves his own praise. With his 210 yards in yesterday's championship game, Alonzo Wise becomes the leading rusher in Quad City history, passing up Bettendorf alumnus Tavian Banks. As usual, Wise says he couldn't have done it alone.
I'll be honest with you, in the beginning of the season, I would never think I would come close to that. But, you know, without the help of my linemen and the help of the team, it wouldn't be possible because, you know, we needed that team to get to the state finals, you know, because if we wouldn't have made it to state finals, we would never got it.
Wise has not yet released which college he will attend next year. He says he will make that announcement later on this week. While in
As we leave you, we give a final salute to the Rocks. Good night, everyone.